How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the No Time to Explain podcast. Today is July 5th, 2023. My name is Justin, and I am here with Samson and Hunter.
Hello.
And our very special guest today, Mason Phelps.
Oh, yeah.
Mason Phelps.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Of course. So, before we get started, we've got a couple announcements for you guys, and we'll jump into some questions. First, though, we have hit 157 followers
Come
on
on.
Instagram. So,
Thanks to the Citadel.
Thanks to the Citadel. Thank you, all the
So,
Citadel
yeah.
people.
Citadel.
We appreciate it. Hopefully you're
And
still
thank you,
watching.
Acosta.
Yeah, thank you, Acosta. If you guys see him at the Citadel, make sure you make a scene when you see him. So he'll love that one. And we also hit 115 on TikTok and 117 on YouTube. Those
Yeah.
numbers might have changed, but from when I checked,
Yeah.
that's what it was. So thank you guys for the support. Maybe eventually, further down the line, we're going to get some sponsors. You never know.
You've been saying this for a few months.
Listen.
You never know.
We just got to go over them
We
one
just
time.
got to go over
Yeah.
it. But it's going to happen eventually. We don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. But, other than that, we've got our guest here. We've got a couple questions for him. He's a very interesting person. We've got a lot of things for him to talk about, lots of things going on. So, let's just get right into it. So, who are you, and what do you do?
What's up, guys? So my name is Mason. I'm 24 years old. I'm currently a student at USF here in Tampa. I've been living here for about a year now. Recently just got my own first place down here. So life's been pretty good.
Nice.
Hitting some nice little milestones. I create content for the internet. I do mostly YouTube videos and podcasting at the moment. I like to work on cars, travel, interview people about like diverse and controversial topics, and honestly just like stir up drama on the internet. I think it's pretty exciting, and I like to make people think. That's a big one.
Oh,
and so, that's kind of a quick little elevator pitch of how I spend my time.
Okay. We're going to dive into a couple of those things later, but before that, how exactly did we meet? So we know that you met Hunter first.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you
Yeah.
meet Hunter?
So I grew up doing entertainment. I was a theater and choir person. That was like my I felt like I lived this split life, like I was Troy Bolton or something. I played sports during the evening, and I had theater classes during the day. And so when I came to USF, I knew I wanted to get involved in the programs here. And in our Acting 1 class with Mr. Landon,
Landon Green. Yeah.
that was a cool dude. We got paired up for an assignment, and the assignment was based off of
We had to get like blindfolded, right? And then and we were like guiding each other around the campus. Like we went and got like drinks at the.
So we had to walk around the campus and like go basically learn how to communicate without using like some of our senses.
Yeah.
And I blindfolded Hunter first because I had an experience in marching with soldiers before. So fun fact about me, I served 3 years in the Army. And so I basically turned Hunter into a soldier, gave him some commands.
Pretty
and
much, yeah.
we walked all the way into the Marshall Student Center.
Marshall Student Center, yeah.
You did a fantastic job. And then we were about to get a pop. And right as we're about to go get the drink, our 5-minute timer was up and we had to switch.
So yeah, we switched. I put the blindfold on him.
And
And
you marched him out.
Yeah, I had no idea how to.
Dude, there were so many people in there too. Like it was crazy.
I was trying to get my pop out of the machine, and I'm just running it through all the different.
Just imagine you like holding, just splashing on people. Oh my bad, sorry.
Yeah, people kept coming up messing with me.
Yeah.
And I'm
People were like-
blindfolded.
yeah. People did not care. They did not care at all. But
Wow.
we made it back. We made it back somehow.
But yeah, during that conversation, I was talking to Hunter about how I do podcasting and how I like to interview people, and basically. Doing all that is like a really big load, and I was like, "Hey, if you're ever looking to like get into something like this, I'd love to have you." And then we kind of changed numbers and started talking every day after class.
And that's how this podcast was pretty much born too.
Yeah,
honestly,
seriously.
like as soon as I met you, I literally brought it up to them. We were like, you know what, we should do something like that.
Dude, that's what you have to do. Just jump.
Yeah,
Think of an idea and just full send it.
I know, and that's what we did.
Samson and I weren't even like huge fans of having a podcast either. We were just like, I guess it would be fun, or whatever. And now,
Now you guys are over 20 shows.
now
That's
yeah.
crazy.
This is 21.
21, yeah.
21.
Episode
That's
21.
wild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We didn't even say it was 20 last time.
No,
podcast.
we didn't.
We didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's 21, and we're at 117 subs, so that's pretty nice.
Man, we should have brought fireworks for today.
We should have. Yesterday was 4th of July,
Yeah,
too.
yesterday was 4th of July, so we should have brought fireworks and we should have blown up the building.
Yeah,
but
we should have done it right inside here.
We should have just put it right here on the table.
You see Amp on
and we should have, with this
Fireworks
this whole
war?
building would be like the Amp house. I didn't go lie.
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
jeez.
Anyway.
World Star. World Star.
Oh
We'll stall. So, let's get into some questions more specifically about your podcast. So, you have a podcast called Phelps Party Podcast. So, first question about it is, how did you get into that? So, how did you start that?
So I was living in a tent when I was in the Army, and it was super cold outside, and I was always on my phone because I had nothing else to do. And I was basically consuming podcasts out the ass because that was a really cool information source for me. And I was like, damn, I could do this. Like anyone could start a podcast. That was the mentality that I had. And I know that I'm really good at meeting strangers, and I have a lot of different people in my life from different backgrounds. And I was like, man, I should just start interviewing people about things that I find interesting about them. And so I sat on that idea for a little over 2 years. And then I decided I was going to start buying things. And over the process of the next 2 years after that, during quarantine, started buying up equipment. And in July of 2022, I finally wrote a script, figured out how to get everything to work together, and I recorded the most boondock podcast in my garage. You can look up.
I remember watching that.
You can look up Phelps Party Podcast #1. That one's pretty rough. I filmed on a GoPro, and it was about 90 degrees in the garage with no air conditioning.
Samson, play the clip. No.
So
We might.
yeah, I basically just decided that that's something I wanted to do because even if I never get a dime out of any of these podcasts, if you never make any money off of this, you still have all of these videos of all the cool people you got to interview over the years.
Yeah.
And you can look back at this,
Exactly.
50 years from now, and you'll be like, damn, I was stupid as hell.
I can't wait for my kids to watch my podcast. That'll be a day when they're going to be on the internet and they'll be like, Dad, is that you? I'm like, no.
I have so many bad takes out of my 7 shows out already, and I have 3 more in the books coming out, and I'm looking forward to get clowned on in the future.
He's going in for a business interview, like, so we found your podcast. What were you saying about these individuals and these certain races or something? I'm like, what? That's not me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Must be my twin, Logan Paul. What are you doing? Nah, I'm just playing.
But so what has it been like for you so far doing your podcast?
So it's tough. So right now I'm a one-man band. I actually hired Hunter to produce a couple shows, but before then I was basically I was writing all the scripts, figuring out all the sets, locations, scenes, and I was doing all of the editing, and I basically had to teach myself through YouTube and asking questions to strangers. And so doing that by yourself, it's very much you get out what you put in.
Yeah,
and
that's gotta be tough.
So I usually post about once a month or once every 6 weeks or so, just because of the production costs. And currently, I don't have the opportunity to have an amazing studio like this. This is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, we got lucky.
We got very lucky.
Yeah. I mean,
In
before we were
style.
just doing it. I mean, you were there that one time. You were just
Yeah.
doing it in his apartment.
Yeah.
That was
He
like
came-
the 3rd or 4th episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came one time when we were still...
It was doing Heiko. You were
Yeah,
interviewing
yeah,
him.
We
yeah.
had Heiko on the first...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We had Heiko on the first time.
Yeah.
And we were still recording in Samson's apartment in his living room.
Yep.
And we had like the boo-boo mics.
Nah,
And
bro.
the boo-boo
I
setup.
look back at all that and the mic quality and just everything.
Yeah.
I can't even believe we
I know.
produced that.
Yeah, it's
I
That
can't
was,
believe
like,
we
so-
put that on our digital footprint.
Yeah.
Nah, you should be proud of yourselves. Even if people judge you for the stupid stuff you did when you were younger, like, you learned from it, and you're here now.
Yeah.
The come up.
They broke. I'm up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I went home during Christmas break and a little bit during summer break, and I was at the club. Shout out to Pump House if you've ever been there. Don't go to Pump House if you ever go to Wichita, Kansas. It's kind of it's like a high school reunion every time you walk in the door, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
And so people walked up to me and they were like, "Oh, you got a podcast now?" Like shitting on me as if I'm not trying to do something I enjoy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We got
And
some,
so-
some of those.
you know, they weren't
Boys,
following
let's
it,
start a
but they.
podcast.
Yeah.
The amount of "Let's start a podcast" comments we've encountered is astronomical. Like,
those are my favorite ones.
Yeah,
though.
they're pretty
I like to
funny,
reply
yeah.
like, "Thank you for giving us more viewership." Something like that.
that's
Something
literally,
stupid.
Yeah, but like what David Goggins said, like you're never going to meet a hater doing better than you, right?
Who's gonna carry the
And
boat?
so, absolutely. And so, I you know, they weren't following my show, but they definitely knew it existed. And so I just kind of took it as like I appreciate you at least knowing about what's going on.
yep.
So
I feel like you'll only get hated on by people that are, you know, not like, I don't want to say that they're lower than you, but that they're not doing as well as you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, those are the time you ever get haters. When someone's doing better than you, and if you're not hating on them, they usually want to help you.
Yeah.
Or they
Yeah.
usually either want to help you or they want to get out of your way. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So, but so what are some things like overall that you've learned from doing this podcast? Like,
The biggest thing about podcasting that I've learned is storytelling is everything, right? You can have a podcast and you can hop on the mic and say a bunch of things that no one cares about, a bunch of filler words, and you can talk in circles. But when you prepare your scripts and you have an outline of what you're going to talk to that person about, it really helps drive your message across. And so in my first show, I just had a bunch of open statements about random discussion topics I wanted to talk about, and I let my friends take over and just kind of, you know, drive the train. And now I realize that I have to come in a lot more prepared and not waste my audience time.
Yeah.
Because there's so many podcasts out there, other forms of content, there's TV, streaming. I mean, there's anything you can talk about. And when you are posting to the internet now, you're competing with everything that's ever existed, right? And so for you to take someone's attention, you really have to pack a meaningful message into a small amount of time.
yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing that I realized. And I've basically grown from starting my, I guess you'd say, entertainment journey.
Fair enough. I mean, that's kind of like how we were though at the beginning. We'd be talking about a bunch of garbage. We would just be talking.
It's
And then,
awful.
like, I don't know if you remember. I mean, if you've been watching for a while, back then we used to do a
I was
lot.
talking about Fortnite. That's,
okay,
that's when you know it was
listen,
bad.
okay,
Dude,
I
you
would-
would bring up Fortnite like
I would
every
still
podcast.
we'll talk
dude.
about Fortnite right now.
No,
Like, I don't
let's
even care.
not talk about Fortnite. I don't think
I'm
the
good.
viewership.
Yeah.
I don't think people want to listen.
What I was gonna say is before we used to play a lot of games, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't been doing a lot of games recently. One, because we have a lot of guests, but two, also because we could talk about a lot more things than just playing a game. You know what I
There's
mean?
a lot more important
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, so
going
like,
on
you
than
know,
just
the
video
Bean
games.
Boozle thing we did with Ben, that one episode, if you go look back, that was funny. But, you know, it's just a game.
was-
It's just
yeah.
like something you put on to, like, as a time waster, you know?
Yeah.
I'd rather, like, last week we talked about conspiracy theories. I'd rather waste your time, quote unquote, with conspiracy theories rather than
Yeah.
us playing a game that you can't see or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, if we get to it later in the show, we have some other stuff we could talk about too, but it's just like updating, getting better and understanding what people want to see and what people don't want to see. And I feel like that's why our viewership's gone up a little bit better too.
Yeah.
So it's just about what
For sure.
you put out there. So one more thing. Have you had any notable guests on your podcast yet? Anyone that you would
So currently I have one that might be coming out. I interviewed a friend that I grew up with at my first college. I am going to let them describe themselves. But I think Phelps Party Podcast number 10 will be a bop. And I've also interviewed Nathan Roscoe on Phelps Party Podcast number 7. Him and I were talking about some very controversial and interesting topics.
Yeah.
Hunter
You
and I
know.
were
Yeah.
in the flesh.
Yeah.
And so PPP number 7, I definitely talked about topics related to like the manosphere and basically like today's alpha culture.
For sure, yeah.
And that's one you should really check out. I really enjoyed that show.
No, I really like that one.
I like
and
that one.
if you like seeing wars in the comment sections, check out my Instagram. Phelps Party Podcast number 7 with Nathan Roscoe. There's a lot of very interesting comments out there.
Oh, I bet.
Well, you heard the man. Go check out his podcast and you'll be able to go see that. And we may or may not have one of his guests that was on his podcast next week on our podcast. So you never know. You never know. But yeah. So moving on. I guess you said it before. You have a career in like media production. So how has that been all for you as well? I know it's not the same as like podcasting. So how has that other side been?
So when I was in the Army, I was enlisting, and I was in my recruiter's desk in the office, and I was like, damn, I want to get a bag. Like I'm here to get money, but also get benefits. And so I was going through the top of the bonus list, And as I was scrolling down the list on his computer, I saw SATCOM operator, and I said, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I picked that job out of the absolute blue with basically no research. I was like, this sounds like a great idea. And my recruiter promised me that I'd get to go to like Germany, Hawaii, Japan, Alaska, Seattle, Florida. Like I was going to get to go to see somewhere really cool all over the planet. And once I got into the Army, did my 1 year of training and got to my first duty station, they sent me to Fort Riley, Kansas, 2 hours from my front door.
Wow.
I was pissed, right?
What are the odds of that happening?
Absolutely.
That's actually hilarious.
You know, the Air Force was in my hometown, right? I grew up near McConnell Air Force Base. It was about 25 minutes from me in Wichita, Kansas. And my brother and sister both joined the Air Force. So I was like, I have no desire of doing that. But I knew with my luck, if I picked the Air Force, I was going to get McConnell. So I picked the Army instead, and that was literally the second next closest base. And I felt like Bad Luck Brian. I couldn't win.
Yeah.
And so I was on a visit here, and I was walking through campus, and I saw all these satellite antennas over by where you enroll for your classes on USF's campus in Tampa.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, what is all that? Like, what are these for? I don't understand why these are all here. Like, they look super familiar to me. And they're like, oh, we have a full broadcast station here. We have an amazing broadcast program. And like right then in that moment, I was like, okay, I'll major in it.
Wow.
And I made that decision December of 2022 and showed up here in the fall. And so I'm trying to transition my background in music theater and my background with IT into like a meta hybrid career, to where I am like working with computer systems, but I'm also doing kind of like artsy entertainment stuff.
Okay.
And so that's how I landed on the broadcast scene. And so I may go work full time for an employer when I graduate, or I might just do this as as a hobby or a passion, because I really like telling stories and connecting with strangers, and then work like an IT job full time. But you know, it really just depends on what doors open for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. I like learning a lot. Before we got started, I was checking out all you guys' equipment, asking all these questions, because if I don't know about it, it's a chance to learn, right?
Yeah, of course.
And like y'all know your stuff real well, and so I'm looking forward to see where the day's coming. So
you said you were in theater a little bit. Was that like in high school?
Oh, dude, man, theater kids are crazy. So I was in. Obviously, I was like the music classes. You had to play the piano when you were in elementary school. And then when I was in middle school, I transferred schools. So I left my school district and then moved back. Right? I was only gone for 5th grade for 1 year. And so when I came back, like everyone was different. And some kids went to one middle school, some went to another. So I was super nervous. And I showed up 2 weeks late to school. And so music was one of the first classes I ended up taking. So that's where I kind of like started and established myself. And shout out to Miss Woodruff. You are the most amazing music teacher I had as a young kid. But anyways, Miss Woodruff's smoking hot. Looks like Katy Perry, right? And basically, Miss Woodruff made the music class so fun, right? And she told me that I was good at music. And like I never thought that was going to be me. And I still don't even necessarily believe that. But the way that which she pumped me up as a little 6th grader, like really motivated me to want to be involved in those programs. And so she invited me to be in her honors choir, where we like went and did competitions against other schools and stuff, as opposed to just performing in our little lunchroom like all the other choir kids did. Yeah. And so I went to the honors choir events, and then I ended up getting some solos in 8th grade, and I got to be the nun such. There's probably a YouTube video I could link you to. And I basically got to run around like I was the Hobbit guy from the 300 movie. And I got to run around and jump through the audience and basically just be a menace, right?
That's funny.
And so anyways, I got to high school, started dating this girl. Shout out to her. She knows who she is. And I was going to leave choir, actually. I was like, screw this. I'm going to go play sports. I'm going to go throw myself and try and get a scholarship in sports. And basically, she was like, no, you have to stay. And so I ended up staying in music. I ended up really, really enjoying the people in it. I don't know if you've ever been in like choir or theater throughout any of your lives.
I've been in choir when I was
in
younger.
theater once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you actually?
In middle school.
Middle school.
For
Yeah.
real?
I got 100 on that exam.
Oh,
I
my
did. I was the
goodness.
only one. I hated that class.
I hope you got 100 on the exam.
Did y'all just feel awkward? Did you not feel good at it? What was the drawback?
I don't even know. It's funny though because I say I hate theater, but then I do a podcast. I was like, so I don't know. I guess at the time I was a lot shyer.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I don't really want to, do that type of stuff.
Mhm.
But luckily the class was more so learning about theater than actually doing
Oh,
theater.
okay.
We did do a monologue one time when you had to memorize it, and I remember that was like at the time that was like one of the worst things I ever had to do because I was so nervous, and I was just like, what if I forget? Blah blah. But I was like, whatever, just get it over with. But I don't know, it's just not been my thing, and then here I am now. So I don't know what to tell you.
That's wild. But no, I basically kept doing it until I graduated.
Okay.
And I got to play some cool roles. I got to play Donald Trump in a musical. That was pretty crazy. I got to scream "Build a Wall" to a bunch of Republicans as during election season in 2016, and they were standing up giving me a standing ovation. And it was crazy.
Wow.
And I played Luke Skywalker a couple times. And then I also played the Prince from Aida. And so I got to do some crazy
Wow.
duets from
That's
stuff like
crazy.
that.
Can you sing?
A little bit. I sang the national anthem before some of my rugby games. And
Okay.
so I got the color guard to come out and performed for our audience of 10 people. So that was pretty cool. But yeah. And then when I was leaving the military, I had a couple of friends from my high school who went to this community college for music. And they were like, hey, we got some guys leaving. Would you like to come audition for the program? And I was like, I mean, why not? I don't have anything else better to do. And so, because I had no plan coming out of the military. I just thought I was going to just like go live under a bridge or some shit. I don't know. I was just so happy to be getting out that I didn't really care about what I was going to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So I went to an audition while I was still active duty. Man, this soda making me burp. I went to the audition, and during the audition, I did okay. But they said we want you, and I was like, oh wow, okay. I didn't realize this is happening, and so I ended up enrolling at a community college on a show choir scholarship. So I was doing all the like glee singing and dancing.
I knew that was possible.
Yeah. I didn't
Yeah,
either.
it's a real thing. Butler Community College in El Dorado, Kansas. If you're looking for full books and tuition,
Wow.
and you are, coming out of high school or you haven't gone to school yet, it is one of the best full rides I could have got. And so
Interesting.
I got my associate's degree for free out of them. That was awesome. When I was there, I was involved in obviously the show choir, but I also did some of their musicals and stuff. And so I did that before I got here. And honestly, I was going to join the theater, but rugby snatched me up first. And then I auditioned for the musical during that class.
Oh, really?
And the rehearsals were during rugby practice and during our games, so I couldn't do it.
Jeez.
Dang.
So I got a call back, and then I had to say I can't do it.
Yeah.
And so, but music is it's a way to connect with people in a different way. And when you're singing in a choir with a bunch of other people, you don't realize how much, like how many different ways you can communicate with others.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, I really like that.
Interesting. Do you know how to play an instrument? You said you were.
No.
Well, that answers that question.
I got a ukulele. I can play like 4 chords and get my way through a couple songs. But I'm like Joe Jonas. I can't do both at the same time.
Okay.
I want to learn piano and guitar so bad. That's like a goal of mine later in life. That's like a bucket list thing. I don't know. I just really like music, but I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
So,
It's got to practice, man.
yeah.
That's it.
I just don't have the time to practice. I got no time.
No
But-
time to explain.
No time to
time to-
explain.
I really have no time to explain.
Podcast reference. Anyway. So moving on, I've also seen some clips, and you've also talked about it, that you like traveling. So where are some of the places you've gone?
So I think I've gone on like 7 or 8 vacations in the past 12 months.
Holy crap.
Wow.
So I'm a real big believer in this is not financial advice, by the way. Right? Let me get you right there first. I am not legally saying anything to you right now. But basically, credit card points are fantastic if you pay your bills. Right? And so there's this thing called credit card churning. Basically, you open a new credit card and you spend up until you get to their
Like a certain reward.
yeah, the reward fee,
Yeah.
whatever. And so getting a bunch of different travel cards, don't do it all at once. This isn't legal advice. But basically, you get to that minimum reward, and then you basically get a free trip for buying things you would have bought anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so And then making connections with people in different spaces and learning how to like basically trade favors for people. Like, hey, I want to go snowboarding. Can I come stay here for blah, blah, blah days? I'll bring you this, and then you can come stay with me at this point for free. And then basically you're just bartering with people on other favors.
Okay.
And so I went to Pensacola for 4th of July last year, and then I've gone snowboarding. I've gone to Africa. I was there for 2 weeks. I've gone to D.C., Puerto Rico, Mexico, New York. That's just a couple.
What's your favorite? Where's like your favorite place you've been?
Oh, man, Cape Town, South Africa was crazy.
Cape Town, South Africa. Explain that to me.
So when I went to Africa, right, I got a series of YouTube videos coming out on this.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 of them already posted. I lost all of my luggage, right? Whenever I was, when I was going from Tampa to Africa, right, my luggage got lost in the Atlanta airport. Atlanta was my layover, and it just
terrible.
disappeared, right? So I get to D.C., where I'm going to fly basically to Africa from, and my luggage does not show up. I stayed up all night for 6 hours going through every single luggage conveyor belt and going to every single person's door of all the different airlines trying to find my stuff. Because I had like $2,000 worth of stuff I didn't want to have to replace.
Yeah.
And so basically 6, 7 a.m. rolled around, and I was like, I got to hit my flight. Like, I can't miss that. That's a bigger L than showing up with nothing.
Yeah.
And so the only thing I had with me was my journalism bag full of all of my computer stuff. And I showed up in Africa with shorts and a T-shirt, right?
Oh my God.
And so I got off the plane, and I had to scavenge and basically go find everything while I was there. And so I got to go to a bunch of different malls and basically like stores and shops all over the country, and basically like scavenge for all the things I didn't have the entire time I was there. And I was vlogging the whole trip. And when I got to Cape Town, right, there is just beautiful, beautiful scenery. I don't know if you know, Cape Town was the first place they ever did a heart transplant. And so that was the hospital museum was there.
Really?
There was a huge apartheid going on in South Africa. I got to see a bunch of stuff about Nelson Mandela, one of the greatest leaders in world history.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went out to Cape Point, and I got to see penguins and walruses, and I almost got attacked by a baboon. And basically that trip was such an amazing time. And then when I went out at nightlife, I met some random girl at a bar and then took her on a date the next night because she thought I was handsome. I think it was just because I had American written all over me.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
You're so good looking. Wow.
yeah, she could tell by my accent that I wasn't from here.
Yeah.
And so shout out to her. But she knows who she is. But
She's still waiting for the second date.
she can wait. But yeah, after South Africa, I went on a safari when I was there, and then I went over to Victoria Falls, and I went to Zambia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe, and got to go around that area and check out one of the wonders of the world. So that was a crazy trip.
Dang.
I'll have that on YouTube at some point, but I need an editor. Shout out if you want a job. But
Samson.
Yeah. I'm sure I want to.
So where exactly is, you said Cape Town?
Cape Town, South Africa.
So where's that? Like in
Um,
Africa?
So like South Africa is the most southern country. Like it's on its way to Antarctica, right? So Antarctica and South Africa, I believe, are like a little around 100 miles apart.
Wow.
Dang.
So
I never
really
realized that.
south.
Yeah. And so I was there in the winter. I was there in August, and so
damn.
that's their winter. And the weather was fantastic. The breeze was amazing. There's lots of cliffs and stuff where the water is. You know, at the end of the movie 2012, they talk about going to Africa. And so like I always had this like joke that like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go live out my like 10-year-old dream. And it looked exactly like what I thought it was. And it was really cool, and it was actually a lot more like industrialized and more like vegetative life than I realized that there was going to be. And so
Isn't South Africa like pretty modern?
yeah, they have 13 different legal languages in their country. And so like I can't imagine trying to work for the government there, because you'd have to know so much stuff.
So much.
But there's a lot of like segregation and stuff going on there. They had apartheid for a long time, and that didn't drop till somewhat recently, and there's still a lot of fallout from that. But
We learned about that in high school.
Yeah, Elon Musk is from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I actually got a couple of teammates on my rugby team who are from South Africa as well.
Wow.
And so they got a kick-ass rugby team down there. Wow. And I got to drive by the stadium, and there was like a 25-mile line of cars trying to get into the city just to go to a rugby game. And that was actually my first exposure to rugby, was being in South Africa.
Wow.
I was in a bar, and all these people had on these jerseys I thought looked goofy as hell. And they were screaming over a game that made no sense to me. And I was looking up at the TV, like, what's going on out here?
Football?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
And when I got back from that trip, not even like 3 or 4 days later, I got asked to play rugby here at USF.
Dang.
And so it was kind of like man, this must be meant to be.
Yeah.
And so, but if you ever get a chance to travel somewhere and like you don't want to go to where everyone else goes on Instagram or whatever, go to South Africa. I posted like 20 times when I was there because I was in heaven. Real cool place.
The only way I realized that rugby was such like a popular sport in South Africa was from the Nelson Mandela movie.
Yeah.
Because like they have the story is about this rugby team trying to beat this other team in South Africa during apartheid or whatever, and it's like the whole story about the rugby team, whatever. That's how I know. I was like, dang, I didn't realize rugby was such like a.
Yeah.
It's literally like football in America.
Oh,
or
it's
something like that.
It's even bigger.
It's way more than that though. Like that's crazy. Do you have like a specific time, like experience that you remember from being in South Africa, like your favorite moment there?
So I got to go on a helicopter ride when I was there.
Dang.
That was probably the coolest thing. And so when I was in South Africa, we went to this like really sketchy helicopter pad with this really sketchy company. The pilot was super cool. But when I got there, they were like, you have to lock all your stuff in here. We have a weight requirement for all this stuff. We have to weigh you. We have to make sure that the helicopter's balanced.
Oh, my.
And then they're like, oh, we were going to take you in that helicopter, but that one's not working. So we're going to take you in the other one.
You see them outside. You see them outside with a pull motor just trying to pull a helicopter.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, like, don't cancel me for this. But I was thinking, like, damn, I'm about to become Kobe Bryant.
Oh, goodness. No.
Oh, my God.
I'm about to go to jail for this or something. But anyways, I was looking at these helicopters, and the other person lands, and they come in, they get off the helicopter. I'm like, okay, this must be all right.
He lives.
And so as I'm going to get on the helicopter, they're recording us with all these employees who are like trying to give us like a cool travel video. I'm like, oh, sweet. Hopefully I'll come back. And I get in the helicopter, start talking to the pilot. He knew English. That was super cool. I was able to communicate with him about what was going on. And we went up and we flew over Victoria Falls. It's one of the 7 wonders. And then we took a big loop around that. And we went in the safari area, and we got to chase elephants and giraffes.
With the helicopter?
Yeah.
Just imagine you low flying like behind an elephant.
And so the feet area below you, it was crazy. The feet area below you was glass, so I could literally see them. So I had my camera, and I was just like, this is insane.
Wow.
And
Wait, you just made it glass so you could, like the plane.
The bottom of where your feet go in the helicopter, the front of the cockpit was made of glass, so you could see down.
Dang.
It was really cool for getting
What if your
views.
feet were just dangling? Like no glass, just dangling. That's a crazy video. Jump on the elephant.
I wouldn't even need a pedicure at that point, you know?
That was real. Jump on the elephant. Just ride the elephant off.
That'd be wild.
That's like some Tom Cruise Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's literally Tom Cruise stunt.
That'd be so wild.
No. That's crazy though. Like, I don't know. I guess it's because we're American. You know, like the stereotype, like, oh, people in America don't know anything about anywhere else in the world. But
Yeah.
you would never know if you really unless you really thought about how close South Africa is to Antarctica, or like the things that are there. You know what I mean? It's like it's such a different culture. Like, speaking of culture, like how is the culture there, like compared?
It's tough. So they basically segregate people into 3 different classes. You're white, black, or colored. And so color is kind of like a catch-all. And so you basically have different privileges, and you're treated differently based off of just the way you look. And I know that exists here in the United States, but people don't realize how bad it is till you go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? And so I saw a lot of the disrespect and the way people were treated as I was going around that country. And I was appalled, man. And when I went to Victoria Falls. I was sitting outside and there was people like selling knickknacks and stuff outside of the falls, and they were drinking water that was literally brown.
Dang.
Right? And I had never seen like that much poverty in my life, right? Mm-hmm. I was going through customs to go from one country to another, and people are trying to sell me gazillion trillion dollar bills as like a souvenir or something because their money was just so devalued.
Yeah.
And so like you don't realize how good we have it here. Are there problems in the United States? Absolutely. Do I want to see this country like progress towards a better world? Absolutely. But you don't realize that how lucky you are where you got your spawn point compared to someone else.
Yeah.
Because it's an amazing country we live in. And so I've been going on a lot of vacations, taking a lot of videos of other countries I've been going to and just learning. And I think everyone should do that if they can afford it when they are young, because it's only going to get harder the older you get. So
that's another thing too, is like I feel like people take advantage of how good we have it here. Like, do we have problems here? Absolutely, you know. But you ask somebody from even the 1960s or like, you know, 1850s, even going back 1960s, 1850s, and they see America today, they're like, wow, that was like the dream that we wanted. And it's like we live now and we're like, oh, we don't have this, and this. And it's like, bro, look at these other countries.
Always
man.
wanting more.
Always wanting more.
Yeah.
And it's like, look at these other countries, man. They don't even have half of the things you have, don't even have half of the privileges you get, half the rights you get. And you're like, when you put it in perspective, it's so crazy. It's like, I don't know.
You got to think about it, though. Like, when you got an injury, right, are you thinking about how much of your body is healthy, or are you thinking about how much of your body's hurt? Right? Every time you get an injury, you're thinking about, like, what's wrong. And so we do a lot with society. And it sucks that we can't be more grateful for what we got, because a lot of people would love to be as injured as we are, as you would say. But I just think everyone needs to go to a different country, especially one that has a different like economic status than the one you were born in, because it will humble you. It'll humble you, or it'll make you want to work harder to get somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so that's the big one. Absolutely.
So what are some? You said you also went to. You say you went to Japan?
No, I went to Puerto Rico, which isn't really another country. United States owns Puerto Rico.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's calm down here. They're their own country too.
Well, they're a colony, right? They're a territory, and they don't have a lot of the same rights that like people who were born within the United States have. And so.
Now wait a minute. Let's hold on for a second.
Why? What do you gotta say about it?
No, I'm just saying.
What do you gotta say about it?
I ain't got nothing to say.
You know that's where you're from?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Puerto Rico needs to be a state.
It does need to be 51 states.
Absolutely.
It should be a state.
But they're in this no man's land, right?
Yeah.
No, we're like in nowhere.
And so when I went to Puerto Rico, I could tell that there wasn't a lot of funding that needed to be put in there.
Yeah.
Like basically we were sucking them dry and we weren't giving them anything back.
Yeah.
Right. And so the places I was staying in, all the roads were beat to hell. All the shops were beat to hell.
Depends on where you are in Puerto Rico.
Even the airport.
Yeah.
Even the airport was rough. And so beaches were beautiful. The country was beautiful. Everyone was so nice to me. I've been studying Spanish, so I was like practicing with everybody I could there. And I had a fantastic time. But you could definitely tell that there's some struggles going on in Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico needs some help.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially with all these hurricanes that keep rolling through there. It's like they never get a break. It's like they'll have a hurricane, like, all right, we're going to rebuild. And then bam! Like, what the heck? Like, that's awful. Yeah. There's that, and just, I don't know. Because I lived in Puerto Rico for a few years when I was very little. My parents moved there for a job, for my dad's job. He works in, like, car dealerships and stuff. And so they lived in a good place. They lived in actually a few places there. They lived in a townhouse, like on a third story, or like, you know, we had a house at one time. And we lived in very nice places. But, you know, there's also that other half of Puerto Rico where it's like just terrible. You know what I mean? So it's just all about where you're at. Yeah,
it sucks because like in Puerto Rico, like if you were born there, it's really hard to make money. I was seeing, like everyone there, like stuff was really cheap they use the USD, but I was able to have a fun time and not have to spend that much.
Oh, yeah.
But you're not going to get paid that much if you work there.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like this endless poverty cycle. If you were born there and you weren't born into like the right circumstances, you're pretty much just like fucked.
Yeah.
And so
pretty much.
they got to get money. They got to get more money down there, and that's gonna come from USA like doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's Puerto Rico. That's even the Dominican Republic too, because my parents have traveled to the Dominican a few times, and they'll go stay in these 5-star hotels. They'll go ATV riding, horseback riding, do all this stuff for pretty cheap. And then, they had a tour guide, this guy, and, he's not making very much. And when they got back to the States, they were like, let's help him out. They sent him, like, a few, I don't know what it's called specifically, but it's these bags of rice, like huge bags of rice, like 3 bags of rice. He was like, that was like a gift from God for them. Because it's like, it's something they don't really get that often. And it's like, you just fed my family for like the next few months with these 3 bags of rice. And it's like, 3 bags of rice? Like, that's crazy. That's like your best gift ever, And so it's like, it's just different. Okay, guys, our microphone cut out. So we're a little lost. But we're going to keep going. So, we were just talking about meeting people in different countries and whatnot and how they're super... Oh, Heiko got his question. Everyone clap.
Heiko, don't let this recorder fall. It's like slowly going down.
Am I pulling too hard?
No,
I think it's just it was moved.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Everyone clap for Heiko. We got his question right.
Yeah. Probably didn't. All right.
Anyways, back to what you were saying about meeting different people in different countries, like how they're nice and whatnot.
Oh, it just everyone's a stranger or everyone's a potential friend until you meet them, right? And so, man, it's really stupid. Everyone's a stranger until you meet them, and so whenever I walk into a room, I'm like, oh, that could be a potential new friend.
Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of people are hard on the edges whenever you first meet them, and I try to break that wall down with strangers. Yeah. And so, I mean, I could talk to a wall. I ain't got no problem with that. But basically, I just try and make as many connects all over the world as I can, because you never know whenever you need to call in a favor or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like your interesting story from that time? Like, what's your funniest interaction or funniest story you have from just traveling in general? If you had to think of one.
Losing my bag in Africa was definitely a pretty fantastic time.
I can't even imagine losing your
I think
bag.
I might just have to fly home and cry. Like, there's no way.
But man, that's on the spot. I'm not really sure if I have a real specific one. If it pops up in my brain like 20 minutes from now, I will definitely hop back to that topic. Okay. But I actually do got a good one. This isn't really about meeting someone, but it was a recent endeavor. Mm-hmm. So I went to Mexico for my cousin's wedding. Shout out to Andrew. Glad you got married. And I was their videographer for their wedding. I didn't even know that they wanted me to film the wedding until I was already at the wedding, dressed up. What? I had my bag with me because I was filming for my YouTube videos. But they're like, hey, can you film our wedding? We didn't hire a videographer. And I'm not mad at them, because if you've never done productions before, you don't realize what all goes into it.
Yeah.
Right? But usually a videographer, they charge
hefty.
$2,000 to $7,000, maybe even 10, depending on
for
what
weddings, especially.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting there like, sure, like that's fine. Like I'm already here. I need the experience. I've never done a wedding, so I'll just like, why not? Mm-hmm. And so I didn't get them mic'd up correctly. That was kind of a shame. So the video is kind of doo-doo, in my opinion. But anyways, if we rewind back to like 24 hours before that, I was looking scruffy as hell. So was my cousin. We had been at the endless bar all week, looking like slums. And I was like, we need to go get a haircut. Right? It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, let's go to the city. I found a barber on Google. Let's do it. And so we get in a cab, we get to the barber shop, and I walk up, and they don't know any English at all. Right? None. And I play a Duolingo every day. I have been a slut for Duolingo trying to get a sponsorship from them. I would love to be sponsored by Duolingo, because I travel a lot, and I think Duolingo does a lot of good things. Yeah. Right? And so I whip out my Duolingo skills, and I basically start asking them in Spanish if they know, if they're a barber, if they know what's going on. I walk in, and I have Google Translate on my phone, and the words I don't know, I start translating. Basically, after 5 minutes of interaction, I get my cousin and I both haircuts in Spanish. This man trusted me between Duolingo and Google Translate to get him a haircut and his beard lined up from a stranger who he can't even talk to. And that was probably the scariest thing because I didn't know if they were just going to take a thing and just buzz my whole head or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And make me look like I was Avatar Aang or some shit. But I got that haircut. And then after, when I was paying, we couldn't figure out how to talk about it with the exchange rate and stuff. So I just gave her cash and she was like,
What? Thank you.
And that was probably the most stressful travel experience I've had recently. That was a really cool time.
That's funny.
And I'm glad that my cousin Nate didn't get too stressed out at me.
Yeah.
But they did a fantastic time. I'll probably make a TikTok about it later. I took video when I was in there.
In the barbershop?
Yeah, I got a whole video of my haircut and everything.
God, that's gotta
You
be
can see
funny.
me talking to him in Spanish.
He's like
And-
shaking, like, please don't mess me up.
Yeah, I had the camera on him, so I think that's probably why he did such a good job. But yeah, shout out to them. I'll probably put that TikTok out sometime.
You just put a whole Mexican barbershop into business. Congratulations.
No, they did great though. That was a good time.
But yeah, that's very interesting. It's not every day you meet somebody that is, traveling the world quite often at that. So especially at your age,
Yeah.
it's not usually when people are beginning to travel the world, they're like 40, 50s or close to retiring. You know, "Oh, I'm gonna spend my money and
most
go."
people just do it after they're retired already.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not every day you get to meet someone that's young and traveling the world and learning so many different things.
Different perspective for sure.
Exactly. A
Absolutely.
very different perspective on the world.
Without the military, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. Getting my education paid for and being able to save a whole bunch of money when I was in. When you enlist, if you're able to keep your cost of living down and basically just keep your head down for the term of your contract, you get out, you go to college, they'll take care of you. You gotta do your part. But that wouldn't put me in the spot I'm in today if I wouldn't have done that. And so I wish I could have traveled more when I was in the military. I'm very thankful I didn't have to go to any places I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
for real.
I could have definitely had a lot worse outcome. But yeah, everywhere you go, try and make connections, meet people, and just be kind.
Yeah.
It'll pay off, 100%.
Speaking of the military, we can go over that real quick. Just so you said you were in the military. So how was that time in the military? Like, what was it like? What was your experience like? Like, what did you do? Or like, do you have any stories from that?
Man, so the military was the best worst thing I ever did. It was what I needed when I went, but the entire time I hated it. I think a lot of veterans don't talk enough about their experiences and the way they were treated while they were in the military. I definitely wanted to blow my brains out every day when I was in, and almost took my life a couple times, right? And so, but just the feeling of like accomplishment whenever you finish a school, complete a mission, I guess just have a good day, earn an award, things like that. There's nothing that beats it. And as a civilian now, there's a lot of things that like damn, I wish I was in the military, or like the military did XYZ thing so well. There's also sometimes things were just so fucking stupid, right?
Yeah.
And so I did just under 3 years in the Army, and I have so many examples of just dumb ass shit. A great example is we got water bottles right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can drink right from the water bottle. Like that makes sense, right? You don't need to pour it into something else to drink it, right? So when I was in, right, we had a problem with water freezing when I was in the field in Fort Riley. We did this like 9-month operation where we lived in a tent and build computer networks, pretty much. I got to be like kind of vague, but anyways, our water kept freezing because we didn't put it inside the tent, because that's smart, right? Let's leave it outside in the cold. But our lieutenant went and bought a whole bunch of new water, like water bottles. He just like, and we were like, oh, sweet, we're going to drink water. And he's like, no, I need you to pour it into the jugs that keep freezing so then you can pour it into your backpack to drink. And I'm like, dude, why don't we just drink from the water bottle? Like,
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
And
That
then-
makes life too easy.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting here like, are we really doing this right now?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if you've ever seen that like picture online. It's people, they got all these bags of like, we'll call it like dirt, and they're loading them off the truck. They're going to the dirt pile. They're dumping the dirt pile, and then they're loading them back into the thing and then putting them back in the truck.
God.
It just this circle is like wasted energy, right? And that's exactly how I felt. And there's a lot of times when I was in the military where I was in situations like that where I couldn't ask questions, and because of the rank on my chest, basically my position and opinion was invalid, and I did not do well in positions like that. I believe that everyone's voice matters, and everyone should have the space to speak up. You know, that's why we have a democracy here. But the military is definitely a chain of command hierarchy system.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't do well in those scenarios. But if you can just like keep your head down and basically just don't draw attention to yourself, you'll have a good time. You'll have a good time. But I got so many stories like that of just absolutely stupid stuff going on. And when you ask questions, they just it don't make sense at all. So, but I made some of the best friends that I have in my life. I'm gonna be at my friend's wedding here in November.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
So excited for him.
Yeah.
And you know, I got a good network of guys all over this world I served with who I could call at any moment if I need anything from them.
That's awesome.
And it's hard to get like a brotherhood like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I always try and throw myself into other groups, like that choir group I went to my first college, or the rugby team here,
Yeah.
stuff like that, or even the music program.
Yeah,
trying to get involved
exactly.
in here is just I like that sense of purpose. So
Interesting. So would you say that the military was like overall good for you?
For me, that's tough, man. I still struggle to this day. I don't want to get too dark on your podcast, but eventually at some point I do want to start talking about it more. You know, I was hospitalized for 8 days. Right before I came here. This was like a little over a year and a half ago. And just because I was struggling so much. And when you're if you're talking about mental health and you're talking about your problems, instead of getting the help you need, they basically just like ruin your career. Right. And that's tough because you can struggle with, you know, your fight for life every day. And if you go seek help for it, sometimes you don't get the help that you want.
Yeah.
Right. And so I let it all build up inside of me until over a year getting out. Right. I was already civilian by this point. But yeah, Memorial Day of 2022, I believe. 2021 maybe. Yeah, I spent 8 days in a hospital in Kentucky. And that was a tough time. And so I feel for the people around me. I really do, because it's not only 1% of people serve in the military for a reason. You know, I was lucky that I had a pogue job where I worked on satellites and did IT work and did communications. But I can't even imagine having some of the other jobs people have.
Yeah,
and
I
some of
know.
the stories I see and hear from people around me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never had to go to war. I never deployed. I was treated like absolute shit all the time. But I'm fortunate. Very, very fortunate.
Are you treated better when you've been deployed than compared to when you're not?
Yeah, so in the military, I believe it's a double-edged sword. If I deployed, I would be so damn proud of that, right? I would want to wear that on my chest and basically say that, like, I'm not just a practice player I got in the game.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like your varsity letterman jacket, you know? And so in the military, and the Army specifically, you have your unit patch on one shoulder, and then on the other shoulder you have your deployment patch. And if you never deployed, you get called a slick sleeve, right? And so being a slick sleeve is kind of like it's a position you don't want to be in. You're kind of a disgrace the way they treat it. And the thing is, in the military, you don't choose to deploy. It's not one of those things where you just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Check this box, I'm going here.
Yeah, it's very whatever Uncle Sam wants, Uncle Sam gets. Whatever Daddy wants, Daddy gets. And so when I was 18, I probably would want to deploy the moment I got out of basic training. And now, a little beyond that, I ain't got no beef with nobody. I ain't trying to go fight wars.
Yeah.
I ain't got no business doing that. But so that's on your OCPs, which is like your camo uniform you see people in. And then on your dress uniform, you'll have like I forgot which side it's on, but basically you'll have like how long you've deployed for.
Okay.
They're like little like slashes or stripes or something.
Oh yeah.
I've tried my best to forget most of the military.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, but it's definitely it's very visible if you deployed or not, and so depending on your perspective, you may have a different opinion on that matter. I guess you'd say.
Yeah. I mean, at least for me, I mean, as a civilian, I feel like anyone that is willing to go into the military in any type of way is like automatically to me is like good on you, like you're a hero no matter what to me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the fact that you're willing to put yourself into the military is enough for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like
I agree with that.
It's very hard to feel that way when you're on the other side in the boots.
Yeah.
Because you always feel like you never did enough, right? They're you know, I don't know if you've ever been to DC or anything. If you've been to Arlington, you've been to the Tomb of the Unsung Soldier,
That's like
Unnamed Soldier or whatever.
that's like for me that's one of my favorite places of all time. Like I don't know, there's just something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever those like Memorial Day comes around, or I start thinking about like, man, I didn't do enough, right? And that's a hard feeling to live with, because there's nothing more I can do at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go re-enlist tomorrow, but like, out of here with that. There is no chance I'm doing that.
Yeah.
You know, what do I have left to prove?
Yeah,
It doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
But I think you can compare it to sports a lot. You know, you always want to feel like you always got that next championship, or you don't want to feel like you're just a practice player.
Yeah.
Right. You want like all of your hard work and efforts to matter. You want to get in the game. You want to do something. You want to contribute. And there's a lot of guilt and shame with it. You know, the first thing that civilians do whenever they learn that you were in the military, almost right off the bat, they ask, "Did you deploy? Where'd you deploy to?"
Yeah.
And it's no different than asking someone what their job title is. You're trying to figure out how much respect to give them and to validate or invalidate their experiences.
Yeah.
And that's tough, because I have to look at people and say no, right? I didn't get in the game, as they would say. And I think the culture around that will slowly start to change as we get less and less involved in like other foreign
Affairs.
Yeah. And I hope that's not how we address people who served, because you don't choose to deploy, and you don't want to. No one wants to deploy, and if you do, you're fucking psycho. So.
Yeah.
I want to go kill people. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like you said. I hope the culture around it changes. But like for me, it doesn't matter whether you deployed, whether you didn't deploy. It's a matter of, you know, you were a team player, no matter what, because you were there. Like you were doing something. So to me, that gives I give you that respect. Whether you were in Nam or you were just sitting behind a computer, you were still serving your country.
Yeah, you were doing your part.
And I understand the idea of it being like a sport, because I feel that too, like from a sports perspective, where it's like I feel like I could have done more, I should have done this, I could have done that, and then so I understand that point of view. But then as a civilian, I think of it as like I couldn't do that, and you did, so it's like good on you for doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just how I see it.
Well, I can tell you, we appreciate it. We definitely do.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, over the past couple of years, I've become a lot more patriotic. You know what I mean? And I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I've looked at the country and realized, like, I'm so fortunate.
Yeah.
And there are people out there, especially because I think a lot of it has to do with Dylan.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Dylan is my best friend. He was on the podcast a few podcasts ago, and, you know, being his best friend, he's talked to me about the things that he's been doing at military school, and like he's gone on, not deployments, but he's gone on to trainings and things like that, and like what it would be like. And it's like, man, I could never see myself here, but like good on you.
Some of the
like,
stuff he does is crazy.
very
like.
respectable, and it's like, how could you not appreciate the things that the people do for our country? It's so crazy to me that people are like, we shouldn't celebrate 4th of July, we shouldn't do this, blah blah blah, America, blah blah blah. I'm like, stop it. Like, it's so, like, come on, man. Like, if only you knew. It's not you out there doing the job. It's them. I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm definitely, like, my perspective on life definitely changed after joining. You know, my living standards are so fucking low now. Like, I used to dig holes and sleep in them, and then like eat rat food out of a bag. Right, so like my quality of standard of living is not high. My electricity went out today, and I'm sleeping on an air mattress. Right, so I'm big balling right now. Right, so
we in the hills.
yeah. So this is 5-star hotel right now.
Yeah.
And but no, like I guess I'm just more grateful for a lot of things than I used to be. Because everything I ever owned I had to be able to carry on my back, and then I had to just like find shelter, whatever I was doing. And so, I don't know. People complain about a lot of shit they shouldn't complain about, and like I'm the same way. I bitch about shit all the time. I be calling my friends every day. Shout out Caden. I call you all the time with all my issues. But yeah, I just new perspectives for sure.
Absolutely. I got one more last question. And this is not like anything related to that, but have you ever had an MRE?
Dude, yeah.
Are they good?
They're fucking ass. MREs are so bad. The best one I really love the cereal with the milk.
They have cereal milk in MREs?
It's like dried milk. You have to add the water, right? That one's super good. The cinnamon roll's fantastic. You want to get it's like spaghetti pasta. That one's gas. I don't eat any of the gum or drink any of the coffee, so I don't care about none of that. Never get the hamburger MRE. That shit's disgusting.
It sounds yummy, and they're like, oh no.
No. Dude, they literally have a packet in there. I don't know how it works, but when you pour water into this bag, it makes a reaction to heat up. It's kind of like those hot pads when you go to a football game.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's with water, and then you stuff your MRE in that bag as well, and it like cooks your food, and I swear you get cancer every time from it. Because like they talk about putting plastic in the microwave. Imagine putting your plastic food bag in a heated water bag.
That can't be good for you. No way.
It's so disgusting. But then when you get done with cooking your food, you just like stuff it in your pocket and just stay warm and shit whenever you're cold out. And then you stink like that nasty food all day.
No.
It's so gross. But no, MREs are really bad. There's this term called rat fuck, right? Your NCO comes in like, who rat fuck the MREs? So you get the MRE box, right? The box comes and it has a whole bunch of MREs in it. And on the front, there's a brown bag and it has a label of what's on the MRE. And like usually consistently there is like certain MREs have certain sides, but sometimes they don't. So like there's something I'm craving. I just go through, open all the MREs and just go dig out whatever shit I want. I was definitely a Blue Falcon about that. But yeah, MREs are disgusting. But I have a great MRE story if y'all want it.
Yeah, sure.
So when I was in basic training, I made really good friends with this girl named Shirley Knight. Shout out to her. She's MVP.
Okay.
And she used to give me all her leftovers because I was this 170-pound string bean when I was in basic training. And there was this one time I was craving M&Ms so fucking bad, right?
Yeah.
And M&Ms are like super rare for MREs. They never show up. And so I was just yelling to everybody when we were in our circles eating our food. I'm like, if anyone has MREs, M&Ms, I'll trade you anything for it. Right? And one person ended up having M&Ms out of my whole platoon when I was in basic training. We had been exercising all day. I definitely needed all these calories because the MREs are heavy in carbs and fat because they're supposed to be like energy sources. They're not about getting you in. They're not anabolic as hell. Like, and so I traded my entire MRE for this tiny little bag of M&Ms because I wanted them that bad. And that was the dumbest decision I ever made because I was exhausted the rest of that day. But there's some goodies. Ranger bars. I don't know if you've ever heard of those.
Ranger bar?
Yeah, it's like a Cliff Bar, but they're like really shitty. And they look like hoo-ah as fuck, and they're a little bigger. And then when you eat them, it's like you're biting a fucking brick. Right?
What is good about this?
Like when you're used to eating rat food, right? Rat food tastes good, right? You know, like when like you're feeding your dog every day, and he gets the same fucking meal every single day, and he pours the food and it runs over to the bowl. That's how I felt eating MREs.
Fair enough.
I grub that shit down.
Well, I guess we can move on from that. But yeah, very interesting.
Yeah,
very
no,
interesting.
really.
So we're gonna move into something now that Samson will like. So,
I like the merch, by the way.
Yeah.
man, who is that? Who's that guy?
I don't know who
Is he on the
He
Magic?
doesn't play in the NBA, right?
I don't think so.
Doesn't he play for the Orlando Magic?
I don't know anymore.
But I hear you also love the NBA, so I guess you and Samson are gonna talk about this more than me because I know nothing about the NBA. I mean, I'll give you
You can
a
just
hot
throw
take
out some stuff.
about whatever, but you gotta go ahead. So, how are you feeling about the off season so far? Would be the first thing.
So, I'm a LeBron guy. Right, I'm gonna start off with that. You know,
LeBron.
I lived in Cleveland for like 4 years when I was a little kid, right? And my dad watched LeBron play in high school when we were in Cleveland. And then I went to a game his rookie year. Do I remember it? No. But I was there, I guess.
Yeah.
And so obviously, I think the Lakers are doing great. I think the NBA is going whack with all their money shit.
Yeah.
They got a new new financial rules in their collective bargaining agreement, and it's sending the league into chaos.
I saw
But
that, yeah.
I don't know nothing about Orlando Magic other than the drama in your life right now.
The midlife crisis right now that I'm going through.
Yeah. So how you feeling about that?
So just recently, yesterday, Bobo has been waived by the Orlando Magic.
Hooray!
So that was a very it was shocking, but it wasn't. It was kind of inevitable at one point because we're trying to move forward and we're trying to compete, and Magic have not been at that point in years. So it's like they usually just had casual role players on the team and just don't know what to do with them. So at least they have an understanding of where they want to go to, where they want to move forward, and that's kind of a good sign. But also the fact that they gave up Bobo, which is a fan favorite of mine and a lot of the Magic family. So it's like
Not anymore.
It was. I play with my heartstrings, but it is.
Who's gonna become your new favorite player now?
Jonathan Isaac.
Boncaro.
Okay.
All day.
I like Isaac.
All day.
My man stood up
I love
during
J.I.
the national anthem.
Yeah,
he said
he made a whole book on it.
Yeah, he
That's the
said I don't
dog.
give a fuck about what y'all think. That means a dog.
That's the dog right there.
That book has sold so many copies too.
Yeah.
Tons.
As it should.
But-
He's a baller. And then he got destroyed the game after.
Yeah.
though.
That was awful.
I hope Isaac can stay healthy this season.
I really hope. I hope he stays because I don't even know what his future is with the Magic or if it's with any other NBA team. But if we keep him and if he stays healthy, he could be a problem.
I draft that dude in like the 7th round in 2K every time. And that dude is like Giannis on defense in the video game.
Yeah, bro. He's
Oh
literally
my
like the
God,
same
yeah.
like size basically.
It's ridiculous.
No, he's a defensive anchor for sure. But I mean, besides that, with the Magic, man, we've been just chilling. We drafted Anthony Black and Jet Howard.
You like that pick?
Jawan Howard's son. I mean, it's funny that we drafted Jet Howard because he was actually. I went to earlier in the season. It was the home opener for the Magic, and we were facing the Celtics. And so
Boo.
we over in Amway. And it's funny, me and my mom, we go, and we're going up the escalator to our section, to the second story, and I look down, I see a bunch of people in these, like, yellow and navy blue, and I'm like, what in the world? And they're in, like, this certain corner, some, like, special section.
Yeah.
No way
like,
he was there.
Turns out, I take a picture, it's Jawan Howard and the whole Michigan basketball team pulled up. And then after they went and saw like Franz Wagner, Caleb Houston, all the Michigan alumni who got drafted to the Magic. So it was pretty cool to see that. And then also Jet Howard was there. So
This
it's
sounds like
kinda
bantering.
Foreshadow.
It's wild.
It's bantering. It has to be.
Yeah, but no, definitely an interesting foreshadow. I have a picture of Jawan over. I zoomed in on him, but no, that was wild to see that Jet Howard was called. I thought we were gonna get Grady Dick, but
What?
Dude, so
and he's Kansas.
yeah, so people who don't know, I'm from Kansas, right?
Yeah.
And I was in Lawrence. I have Snapchat videos of me on Mass Street during the national championship lighting off fireworks. I met Spider-Man. There was people put in shopping carts. We were like raging down the streets.
Oh,
There's this girl in a cowgirl outfit.
Yeah.
And she flashed the whole audience. It was crazy. KU goes wild for basketball.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
I used to go to their basketball camps growing up when I was a little kid. Before I quit growing and they realized I was going to be the height of a point guard, I was like this height in 8th grade. And so they thought I was gonna end up being like 7 foot tall or some shit, right?
Next to white LeBron.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And so I had hopes of being an NBA player someday.
Yeah.
So I went to these like recruitment camps. And so I've been around KU my whole life. You know, basketball started with James Naismith in Kansas.
Yep.
Right. And so now I don't live too far from there whenever I'm home. And anytime there's a big game, I pull up to town and I watch it in the bars. Going to the game is cool. Obviously, you want to be in there. But there's nothing better than Allen Fieldhouse. That place is fantastic. But shout out to Grady Dick. I hope you have a good NBA career.
Wasn't there like a missed opportunity where they could have had like Grady Dick and someone Suggs?
Dick Suggs?
They
Suggs
could
Diggs?
have
Suggs
had
Diggs?
They could have had Suggs Black.
Suggs Black Dick.
Yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
that would have been a trio. For
Could
sure.
you imagine like the Magic take a picture of them sitting next to each other on the bench in that order, and then they have them all three autograph it?
Oh gosh.
That would be funny. Sell that in their merch store.
Yeah.
What's worse, a shirt like that or his draft combine outfit?
Oh my
Oh
god.
my goodness. Yeah. That was crazy. All that glitter red, and he had like shoulder pads on.
Yeah, he
had
had,
to
he had
put
that
that
Daedric
photo
armor
up.
from Oblivion. That's
Oh
what
my god.
Bro, had shoulder pads on for the
Yes,
NBA?
you never seen his,
I never
his
seen that
drip.
picture.
His draft day fit was wild.
Nah.
It's disgusting.
It was absolutely.
He looks like he went to the
insane.
portal
Wait,
of
who is
Oblivion.
this?
Grady Dick.
Grady Dick.
Yeah, and it was kind of wild.
Grady.
But no, we picked up Jet Howard instead. He's a shooter, but I don't know how that's gonna go. He's a work in progress, but hopefully he pans out.
Draft outfit? Oh, this guy.
It looks
Yeah.
disgusting.
The Kansas
That was
native,
fire.
No.
not those shoulder pads. Maybe if he got those,
He meant business. I don't know
if
if
he
he
got
got
those sized up a little better.
So he's from my hometown,
yeah,
There he is.
right? And then Fred VanVleet played at Wichita State. So did Austin Reeves. And I whenever I'm home, I work out at the Wichita State gym. And so like it's kind of cool to have like some like hometown people
Yeah.
like doing stuff in the league.
yeah, that is really cool.
So
But no, I mean, you have any hopes for the Lakers this season? What they're gonna
They're
do?
gonna win the championship.
So I'm only a LeBron fan. I actually don't have an NBA team.
Okay.
I think I'll establish a team if I ever get a job working for them. Maybe not after my Kobe remarks, but if I can get a job for an NBA team, I'll probably rep that roster and rep that franchise.
Okay.
But I hope LeBron gets at least one more in LA because everyone likes to crap on his Mickey Mouse ring. Right? Everyone who showed up at the bubble all had the same parameters, all had the same things. I'm sorry LeBron's better than you. Cry about it.
Arguably, I feel like the bubble might have been a little harder because everyone was so focused on basketball.
Yeah, but they all had the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. Is like the fact that they were all in a bubble focused on basketball would have made the competition so much harder. 'cause it's
Absolutely.
about
Yeah.
basketball.
And so, I don't know. I'm a LeBron guy. I like his play style, and so that's a big reason why I'm a fan of him. I think he makes his teammates better if they're not ass.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
so,
He's done it all in different eras of his career, which is kind of crazy to think about. But
would you like if Bronny got drafted to Orlando and LeBron pulled
if he
up?
went to the Magic, that'd be wild.
That'd be
'cause
crazy.
Then I know, but I know Bron hates Orlando.
Does he?
Because of yes, he's had a whole thing about it. He hates Orlando. He hates the.
Why
the
does he hate
whole-
Orlando?
He's got PTSD from the bubble,
Oh,
and he just doesn't like the
Oh.
city in general.
Okay.
I thought it had to
He
do with
never
like the.
experienced the city. Though. That's what I'm saying. It was COVID, so he never got to go
Exactly.
out and do stuff in Orlando.
I mean, I've got to experience the city in some parts.
oh no, like Orlando's pretty
It's a
garbage.
little-
Yeah,
Like,
that's not really that great.
UCF's trash too, right?
UCF I've never been there, but I would rather not go.
UCF
Horns up,
awful.
horns up. But nah,
I've never been to Disney World.
What?
Yeah,
no way,
bro. Like
Timeout.
the coolest thing I ever been to growing up in Kansas was Worlds of Fun. And
You ever been to Dollywood?
no, I've never heard of it.
Oh my god!
I
You
went
ever
to
been to Busch Gardens?
I've been once, and that was like a month
Oh my
ago.
gosh!
Yeah,
Did you like it?
Busch Gardens was cool. I went on Tigress, and I thought I was gonna get thrown off. That shit was
Eh,
scary.
sounds
Go
Dude.
about
on,
right.
I got pictures of me, and my face is completely red, my hairline pushed back. I'm
Did
screaming.
you go on? What's the big
Did you go on
Sheikra?
Sheikra?
Maybe I'm not sure, but
That's
Ti-
the
like
big,
the big
big
drop one.
red and blue one.
oh, that one was cool. The
Yeah.
view up there was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you just
I'm checking out the water park sometime later this month. I'm hyped about that. I'm about to
Oh,
be the
yeah.
biggest little kid out
I
there.
personally like water parks better than amusement parks.
Me too.
so
Me too.
you. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You've only been here for how long?
I got here in August of 23 or 22.
Yeah.
August of 22.
Yeah.
So you're coming up on like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt about
it'll happen.
Disney.
It'll happen. I'll check it out.
You need to go immediately.
I feel like you should go to Universal first.
Oh yeah, no.
I think Universal is personally better than Disney.
Yeah, I agree.
Universal for an
Yeah.
adult, yeah. I
Yeah.
get that.
Here's the thing though, like I think everyone should experience Disney at least one time in their life because
Yeah.
Disney is just that place. You know what I mean?
What if I told you I'm a Disney adult?
Oh no. We got a friend that's a Disney adult.
Yeah.
That ain't it. I mean, no, I don't understand. I mean, I don't know. Like,
They got good movies, man. They got good movies.
okay, movies are valid.
Okay,
Movies are valid.
what's the best movie?
What's your favorite Disney movie?
The whole movie. I have to pick the whole movie, right?
Yeah.
I can't just like pick certain songs.
No,
or,
just.
I mean, you can do that after, but like, what's your favorite
What-
Disney
what-
movie?
but what's
Whole
your-
Disney
yeah.
movie.
That's a lot of pressure, dude.
You're being judged.
I think I like The Incredibles.
Let's
Okay,
go.
that's a valid.
Miss Incredible,
Honestly.
man.
All right.
I used to get bullied and to look like Dash as a kid.
Oh,
Hey,
I
but
pushed my hairline
Dash
back.
was valid. So whoever said that, you're looking silly. Like, Incredibles is my favorite Disney movie. of all
Incredibles
time.
is so good. The first one's so
First
good.
one was my favorite.
I'm
The
not a big
second
fan
one-
of the second
I'm not
one,
a huge
but
fan of the second one.
I don't know. What did you like the second? Yeah.
Nah, I didn't really care about it.
I think they just wanted to bring this nostalgia back, and it was just like, there's no need.
It's hard when it's like what that movie was like 10 years later
Here's the
than
thing,
the
that
other
movie
one.
was supposed to be 2 parts, I feel like, because of the ending.
Yeah.
I mean, it couldn't have been. I mean, it could have just been one part, and they're like, oh, they're going to go save the day now again. But, like, it could have been 2 parts, or it should have been
I just
don't
hate
know.
when they have to like you have this cult classic film like they
Like
did
The
it with
Little
no, well that too but they did it with Finding Nemo, like then they come out with Finding Dory. I'm like, just keep the original movie, like
Yeah,
the sequels are
I
always
feel
just
like
not
Finding
as
Dory
good.
They're
did
money
need to
grabs.
exist.
Yeah,
that's
just
what
leave
nostalgia
the
money
first
grabs.
movie alone.
Yeah.
Nostalgia money grabs it all it is.
That's
But
the entire Star Wars sequel series. It's just a
Yes.
money grab.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Give me
So
the
bad.
prequels, and I'll be chilling. There's no need for sequels.
Yeah.
But when you do go to Disney, I suggest the first park you visit would be. It depends.
Magical Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom probably. Yeah,
It's
Magic
like
Kingdom.
The go-to.
If you like traveling, you should go to Epcot.
Yeah, I was about to say
Epcot's
Epcot.
kinda
I've seen
cool.
so many
for
pictures
sure.
of that.
Epcot is kind
You
of
would actually
Go
really
drink
like
around the
Epcot.
world?
Yeah.
You would really like Epcot.
Drink
now that I
around the
think about
world?
it.
Go to each exact.
Yeah.
I'd be blacked out. And
I don't even know how many.
Before you get
spots
to
they
Canada,
got, like
he'd already be
12
gone.
Or
I think there's like 13.
It's Mexico, Japan. No, Japan's in the top right corner. It's Mexico, China.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
I don't know, Belgium, Germany.
It's really cool though.
Italy.
I honestly, I feel like you would like that place a lot.
Yeah.
my junior year of high school, the drama club went to Disney World, and the teacher wouldn't take me because she's like, I don't want to deal with your ass. And I was like, you jackass. And then my senior year, my choir was supposed to go, right? And then the teacher pushed it off till the next year. I was so pissed, bro. I got gypped on 2 chances of going to Disney. And so now I'm kind of like low-key boycotting it.
Yeah. I would. 2 places you gotta go are Epcot and Universal. Those are the 2 best.
Epcot,
places,
Universal,
in
and
my
Magic
opinion.
Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom's okay. It's okay.
I think Magic Kingdom is like a top 2 park. Because here's the thing, Disney World, like the actual park, is okay if you're a kid.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay if you're a kid.
Yeah.
It's got the castle. That's iconic. But
It's got all the
everything
characters and
else,
stuff,
you know,
but-
everything else. I mean, the rides, some of them are fun, but it's like it's more meant for the kid experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
It's for a younger audience.
yeah. The rides are meant for adults. Some of them are meant for adults.
Yeah. Some of
But
them.
overall, if you want to have a good time as an adult, Magic Kingdom and Epcot.
Yeah, those are the 2 best for like older people, I think.
Yeah. And then especially when
So I'm old now.
I
You're an
mean,
old guy.
our age group.
What you do have to go to now though is when October hits, you got to go to like Hollow Scream and like Scream Again and all them other stuffs.
Bro, I'm a slut for Halloween.
Exactly. There you
I
go.
love Halloween. I was 5 costumes last year.
Dude, you gotta go to
5?
Hollow Screen, then you should do
You
that.
should
Yeah.
go. That stuff is.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
A little scary, a little fun.
Not that scary.
Okay, it depends on which one you go to. The one at Busch Gardens a little
Yeah, the Busch Gardens one is not that great to be honest, but
It is what it is. Apparently, you know how they have like the scare meters. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I was like, I never understood that because it's all the same. It's It's all the same.
Y'all better do a Halloween podcast and dress up. That'd be hard.
I was actually thinking about that the other day. That's so
that.
funny you say that because I was like, man,
That'd be fun,
when Halloween comes
actually.
around, I want to be like Spider-Man or something. I was like, I want to dress up like Miles.
We should do that.
We
That'd
did
be
have.
fun.
Remember the time when we first started doing podcasts? Remember when we were talking about Halloween? We were like, man, we're gonna dress up as Tangerine and Lemon from Bullet
did you
Train.
See, you see the Bullet Train movie with Brad Pitt and oh my god,
He was gonna be Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I was gonna be Lemon, and he was gonna be Tangerine.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I
that
like
was so
this
funny.
idea.
Dude, we should just have you back on for the Halloween
one.
I love how
Dress up
I was
whoever you want.
Homelander and Hercules. This
Oh.
I saw that.
Homelander,
I saw
yeah,
his Homelander.
I put on a do-rag, right, and I became a Hoodlander. And then I put on a do-rag again, and I became Hoodcules.
Oh
and I like
my
pulled out my
God,
chain,
dude.
and I was running around, and I like, what's up? And I was just being a dumbass the whole time. It was fantastic.
That's funny.
I thought about like turning into a TikTok thing and like
That'd be kind of fun.
trying to get canceled. I thought that'd be kind of funny. So we'll think about it.
Halloween's not like one of my favorite holidays, but it's definitely one that's you dress up, you have fun. But
Yeah.
it depends on how far you go with it. If you're not like casting spells or whatever, it's like you got me there.
Yeah, there's some people that sometimes take it too far, but
Now that we're talking about it, I guess we didn't really talk about NBA that much.
yeah.
Okay, well, actually, I have one more question for you about the NBA. LeBron or MJ?
Man, so I went out deep on this on Phelps Party Podcast number 3, right? So I believe that Michael Jordan is painted to be this mythical god that has these unreal expectations and that he's never lost a game in his life and that he's perfect, right? And we got to think about it. Michael Jordan had played 15 seasons and won 6 of them, right? LeBron has played 20 seasons and won 4 of them. I don't see much of a difference there, right? And if we're going to use rings as your quantifier, then Robert Horry has 7. Are we saying Robert Horry's better than Michael Jordan? No, right? But Russell has 11. That's pretty cool.
I
And
know
like,
for a fact Hunter and Justin don't even know who Robert Horry is.
I don't know.
I don't know.
He played for the
And,
Pistons or something. I don't know.
No, I played for the Lakers.
I
Yeah.
know who that was.
And so, anyways, I feel like LeBron and Michael Jordan's accomplishments are on the same level, even though LeBron obviously has failed on bigger stages, right? But he's also had success. His successes, I feel like, are worth more than Michael Jordan's successes, right? So I feel like their resumes are pretty even. And if you are debating LeBron versus Jordan now, I feel like it is based off of which play style you like.
Yeah.
And for me, if we're playing video games, I want to be the healer, right? I want to be the support player. And I feel like LeBron is the ultimate support player for any roster. You plug him in any team, and he can basically adapt to any role but hitting free throws.
Yeah.
And so I'm a LeBron guy. I think Michael Jordan is an absolute monster.
Killer instinct.
Yeah, I think he obviously no one beat him in his time. No one got rings on him whenever he was playing. But I don't think the league is the same as it was today. And so obviously we have more rosters now. We've had expansion drafts and stuff. I'm an absolute NBA nerd, right? If I could work for the NBA, I would.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Fair enough.
But I'm a LeBron guy. I think it's close, but I just don't like Michael Jordan's play style. So
Valid.
that's just me.
The thing with that is for me is when you look at the stats, like when he's not on the Bulls, you know what I mean? Like when you look at Michael Jordan as just a player.
Whatever.
What?
You said when he was not on the Bulls, like he was like 10 years with a different team.
No, I mean just like
He's with the Wizards for
Well, he
like.
kept getting fired, so-
I know, but I'm saying like when he didn't have Scottie
Talk
Pippen.
about his MLB career too.
No, well, you might as well. When he wasn't with Scottie Pippen or like the guys that you think about when you think about Michael Jordan being on his team, he didn't really do that well. You know what I mean? Like as just himself, he didn't. I'm not saying he's a bad player.
I mean, but LeBron also in the beginning, he didn't
Yeah.
have LeBron missed the playoffs the first 2 years of his career.
But that was his
So-
first 2 years of the career.
And Jordan dropped like 62 points against Bird and his Celtics in the playoffs.
Didn't he get swept that
his-
year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And so basketball's a team sport, so it's really hard to quantify a team sport off of one player.
True.
Like if we're talking like tennis or like track or something, I mean that's cool. But even in team sports, it's really hard because you can't be 5 places at once.
Yeah.
And so
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know what I'm talking about, but there is something I saw that some other guy that knows about basketball was talking about, and he was like, when Jordan didn't have Pimpin to like help him out or whatever.
Pimpin'.
My boy Pimpin.
Scotty Pimpin'.
What did I say?
Scotty's Pimpin'.
Did I say Pimpin?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Pimpin'.
Pimpin, garbage. I don't know. Anyway,
Damn.
when he wasn't on his team, his stats were lower and they didn't win as much or something like that. I don't know, but something like that. And then he was comparing it to LeBron and how LeBron is different. I don't know. He was just saying LeBron was better.
Who's your GOAT? Who's your GOAT?
It like you said, it depends. I mean, I like LeBron. I feel is a better facilitator. He could spread the ball, like you said. He could lead a team by far, and like nearly any team. But I feel like a mentality-wise, and a person who's gonna go on the court and is going to do his best every single time, without a doubt, is gonna be Jordan. But it's a team game, like you said. So you got to factor in all these different things. I don't think Jordan was as much of a team player. Because, I mean, he always had to be the one to carry the boats. He literally had to do it all the time.
Who's going to carry the boats?
So, I mean, LeBron had to at one point, but then he started adapting and being more fundamental and being more based around the team. So, it's a toss-up.
Yep.
So
it's really hard.
I think if there was the way we have media today, how there's so much information out, and Michael Jordan had that during his era, I think Michael Jordan would be painted a different light.
Right? I agree.
Yeah.
I still think people would think he's really good.
Oh, 100%.
But they'd be like,
of course.
Now wait a minute.
But the thing is,
bro is 6-0 in the finals.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost.
Yeah, but he
Literally never lost.
but he
That's
lost
too easy.
9 other times and retired.
Yeah.
So he took seasons off. So I mean, he has lost. He just hasn't lost at the biggest
Not on the
stage,
stage, yeah.
because the second place medal is so much worse than being in last place, right? Right. second place is all right. I mean, I don't want to be second place.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, both of the places don't matter unless you win it all.
Mhm.
So nobody's gonna be talking about second place. Nobody's gonna be talking about 8th. You know.
It's true.
Unless you're LeBron.
Yeah. Then they'll bring it up. Then they'll bring out the record books.
LeBron got second 3 times, which was more than Jordan. Therefore, he's better than Jordan.
But,
Damn.
yeah.
I'm just trolling. But
It's definitely a touchy topic for NBA fans.
Do you have any other
earlier on one of our earlier episodes, we talked about this, and I don't know anything about basketball,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, "What are you talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about." I'm like, "Of course I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know anything about basketball. I'm just talking whatever." They're like, "Bro, you're so dumb. Like, literally, Michael Jordan's so much better. Like, look at his stats. Like, everyone feared him, and it was like, what are you talking about? I don't care. I don't care." And then Heiko commented on some guy. He was like, "Bro, Michael Jordan was the most feared player ever." And Heiko was like, "Since when is fear a stat?" I was like, "What?" I don't know, man. I'm just here. I got a lot of views.
Yeah, it got also like 60 comments.
Hey, that's interaction. I don't know what to tell you there.
I got one last input on the GOAT debate. Can a point guard or a center be the GOAT?
Well, usually a point guard is the leader of a team. So, and then again, there's the center who is kind of like an anchor. So, I mean, I feel like you could go. I feel like you go both ways. I mean, if somebody's really that good, they could be it. Point guard or center. I mean, Jokic is on pace to be one of the best. So
I hate that take, even though you're right. I hate that take.
I don't like the fact that it is right.
He was drafted last in the All-Star game out of the starters, right? And I don't even draft him in 2K.
Just look at him. Look at him, and you don't think NBA Hall of Fame.
He's like Tim
you know what I'm
Duncan,
saying?
honestly.
Yeah, Mr.
Like-
Fundamentals.
They're very similar players, and it's tough because I don't draft Duncan in 2K either.
Yeah.
Right? We want to be
You wanna
entertained.
draft the flashiest player, the person who's
Yep.
going to make all the highlights.
Yep.
You could go and win like 7 rings, and people be like, Jokic.
Yep.
That guy, whatever.
It's true, man. It's absolutely true. He got robbed of that MVP. It should have been his. I'm from Kansas. I love KU, and I used to watch Joel Embiid play. I still believe that Jokic should have got the MVP.
Yeah.
So
Here's the thing: if he were to like later in life be put into like the GOAT debate, he wouldn't even care because he'd be just back in wherever he's from racing his horses. Like, oh yeah, I did the NBA one time. That was fun.
That was a fun side quest.
That was a fun little hobby I did.
God,
People were like dying on a hill for him. Like, yeah, that's nice.
No, the fact that your side quest is playing in the NBA is wild.
No, that's crazy. That's some crazy work. Like, what are you doing?
No, these are definitely interesting topics within the NBA for sure.
So what we've learned is ball is homeless.
Ball.
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 No, it's ball.
Oh, yeah.
You just
Listen, it's ball.
just being silly.
It's BOL. Ball.
Oh my God.
It says it on your shirt too.
Yeah.
He's homeless, and then LeBron is the GOAT. That's what we've learned today. But these are all.
I don't know.
We've already done these.
I don't know.
You're jumping to conclusions right now.
I'm not jumping to nothing. Could you beat MJ in a 1v1?
I can't beat both.
If you were if you had a 15-point lead,
beat any NBA
if you had a
player.
15-point lead,
and what's the game going up
you're going
to?
to 20. You're going to 20.
Oh,
Who
no
plays
way.
the 20?
Yeah,
21. You're going to 21.
Right? This is how you know he's a casual. Who plays to 20?
I was thinking even numbers.
It's always 21.
All right, let's say you're going to 21. We're
going to 20.
Okay.
We're scoring on third
if you're
points.
Up 20, if you're up 20 points going to 21, you might not win. Like a 95% chance.
I win.
You're not winning.
I'm winning.
You're not even getting in the paint.
Me and LeBron, I'm shooting over that man. I dunk on LeBron on like a 5-foot
You're so
rim.
dumb. You're not beating.
Listen, if you put your mind to anything, you could do it.
Not the.
You're a captain. I could do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about
Get
that
this podcast to 100K views.
100K views, and I'll 1v1 LeBron in his backyard.
What do you see in your DMs, LeBron?
in a beard.
Oh my God.
I'll film
dude.
it. I will.
That would be such a good video, though. That would be so. Oh my God. What would you do if you just saw in your DMs like LeBron wanted to play you in a 1v1?
I would accept, and then I would go train.
You would go train?
This whole summer would just be me training basketball.
I like this idea.
Yeah.
Let's get LeBron.
I think we're just going to have to all send it
Let's
to
get
LeBron.
LeBron. I'll get Bobo.
Okay.
Done deal.
You think you can beat
2v2,
Bobo?
Me and you versus Bobo and LeBron James.
No. I'll be on Bobo's team. I don't want to be on yours.
I guess I'm going to get to be Bobo then.
Yeah.
It's so messed up.
Oh my gosh! Listen, if we had a 20,
We'll have Hunter on stilts.
Oh my God.
if we had a 15-point lead, we could do it.
We're not winning. We're not winning.
Dude, there's no way you win that.
If you make every half-court shot in the that's the only way.
I'm splashing over LeBron James. He's not that tall.
Yeah, okay.
He's probably going to knock it out of midair.
Fake.
Especially
Pump
if
fake.
Bobo's on the team. Yeah, you're getting swatted.
Ball,
every time.
like, look over there. Splash. I'm
my.
just saying.
We're
Anyway.
already like an hour and 30 into this.
What's our time?
Like literally an hour and 35.
Hey, we like long podcasts. It's all right.
It's all right.
I'm being chilling.
Yeah, let's do
We'll just finish up the questions.
All right, well, we only have... Let's just finish up the 12 questions.
How many questions do you have?
I don't mind.
No,
huh?
we only have 2 more. We really only have 2 more.
We don't want to keep you
here.
here too late.
Nah, I'm chilling. I'm being
Okay.
all my homework's done.
Okay,
I'm being
all
chilling.
right.
All right, never mind.
My
2-hour
computer's not
podcast.
gonna be
Let's
chilling
go.
tomorrow.
Anyway. I'm still thinking about this paint.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Okay.
So I am from Kansas. That's where we. I'm gonna quit laughing.
Okay.
We're originally from Kansas, finally moving to Florida. So, what are some of the differences you've seen from Kansas and Florida?
Dude, people in Kansas are like really nice. Like I didn't realize that.
Not Florida people.
Yeah. So like every time I would like bump into someone in the grocery store, I'd be like, "Oh, sorry about that," and then we'd have a whole conversation about whatever. And yeah, like strangers are really nice in Kansas. I think it's just the we're also spread out. We just like crave communication,
Okay.
right? We're all
Fair
just
enough.
starved. Here in Florida, it's like packed as hell here. It's
Yeah,
hot
you
as
don't wanna
shit.
Talk to anybody.
Everyone is assholes when I go to the grocery store
Yep.
or things like that. It's very, very different down here in Florida.
Okay.
But yeah, Kansas and Florida, vastly different.
Yeah.
Like Like when I'm in Kansas, I go pump my gas, right? And I walk into the gas station and go do stuff. Here, I'm like, damn, someone's gonna come like steal my gas thing out and fill up their car and just fuck me for no reason.
Free gas.
Or like I'm scared to have my car break down on the side of the road, or I don't know. It's so different from here. I don't want to ask for help because everyone has this like fuck you mentality.
Yeah.
Like, you're not important.
Yeah.
You know.
That sounds about right.
I think it's because there's so many people here.
It's
right?
literally what it is.
And like there's no laws in Florida.
It's a tourist state.
It's
Literally
crazy.
Everybody's down here.
There's also a lot of shady people in Tampa, so it's like, I'm stuck on the side of the road, please help me. And then they pull over, they're like, all right, I'm going to need you to give me everything you have.
Imagine going to Miami's even worse.
Oh,
like,
no,
it's
Miami
really
get
bad
trafficked
down there,
and then
so-
you're gone.
Yeah,
I hated Miami. I went for one Heat game during Thanksgiving, and the place was a ripoff.
yeah.
Miami.
I think Tampa's getting better. I
Tampa's
think they're
getting
growing.
something.
Tampa, you get the best of everything.
I think Tampa is growing in the right direction.
You get the best views, the best.
Just stop talking.
Podcast.
Have you ever had a bad experience in Tampa?
Yeah.
I'm sure I have.
Yeah,
I
because I haven't.
When I was a
honestly.
kid, I already told this story.
Yeah.
Remember when I was a kid?
Yeah.
And
What?
I was out with my parents, and we were out at night, and I was younger back then. But some guy was sitting at a bar, and he was like, "Hey, yo, kid, I gotta tell you something. Come here." I was like, "Let me go ask my parents first."
okay, yeah.
Let me go ask my parents. I was like, "Guys, Mom, this guy wants to ask me a question. Can I go answer?" She's like, she just stared at him. I was like, "Okay, bye." I almost got trafficked. Like, I don't know. That's my experience.
Well, I mean that is a little scary, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I get a little tense when I go to Tampa because my barber's in Tampa, so I go there. But like, I don't know, the people there are sus. Like,
yeah,
you never know what's gonna happen.
It's always just depends on where you're.
yeah, it
located.
depends where you're going.
Yeah.
It's always. for any
Ybor
place.
is kind of scary too.
St. Pete, that like whole area of St. Pete is just weird. Like St. Pete is just. There are some spots that are okay, but then there are other spots where you're like, I'm gonna stay in my vehicle. Like, wow, sightseeing is great. Like,
Felt that, but I think I could stay here in Florida.
Yeah.
I like it. I brought all my stuff back, so I ain't going back to Kansas no time soon.
as you should.
Do you like the heat?
Miami Heat, yes. The Heat here, no.
Just the actual like temperature. Yeah, yeah.
Literally yesterday, it felt like Logan told me it felt like 104. Like on the actual weather app, it was like feels like 104.
It's summer. That's what happened. July is literally the worst.
Yep.
It's insane down here,
Yeah.
but it's worth not having the snow. When I was in high school and elementary school, middle school, we used to have snow days where I grew up, where there'd be so much snow, and I lived out in like a farm community for some points, where we'd have like 10 feet snow drift and you can't even get out of your house.
God.
So snow days are like a real thing. Kansas is great because it gets to 105 in the summer and then negative 20 in the winter. So it's just you just get fucked all the time. But yeah, Florida more consistent. Even though it's always hot, I like how it. You know what you sign up for.
Yeah. I'm
So.
surprised Florida doesn't have like for schools, they don't have like heat advisory days. Like you can't go to school today. It's way too hot outside.
like Black Flag days.
Yeah, like Black Flag days. Like if you walk outside of USF, if you go walk outside anywhere, you will literally die. Like don't go to school today. Like why don't we have those days?
I don't
They have
know.
snow days. Why can't we have heat days?
We have hurricane days.
That's true. We do get hurricanes.
true.
We
I had
get the
my
fun-
second hurricane ever was here. It was nice.
Isn't that fun?
No, I was on top of my apartment garage just waiting for it to come in, making TikToks. It was a great time.
Honestly, hurricanes aren't that bad. People are like, "Oh my gosh, how do people in Florida live?"
You
It's
get like one like every like 5 years that is like really bad.
yeah, but then when it's really bad, you're just like
Dead.
hurricane.
Now you're dead.
Like I don't know. I feel like maybe Floridians downplay it so much because we get them a lot.
That's Kansas with tornadoes.
Yeah, exactly. Like
It's
if
really if you live on the coast, that's where you get the worst. If you're like
yeah.
Fort Myers.
Like
Well, I
I
mean-
know I had family in Sarasota that got like just
Yeah.
destroyed by like the last what was like the last big one.
I forgot.
It happened like
It
2
was-
or
it
3
was
years
bad.
ago. Yeah, it was not good, but
Do you guys get Twisters?
Like like the TV show,
Like a twister.
like an actual tornado.
yeah.
Yeah, so when I was a little kid, like 5th grade or so, I guess we'll call it a little kid, my mom moved in with her boyfriend at the time. And when I was looking through the house, there was this tree inside that they used to water. It was kind of like where the light was at. And there was this door hinge stuck in it. And I was like, what the hell is this about? And he was like, oh, our house actually got hit by a tornado like 2 years ago. And I was like, what? So in the basement, they had this like 12-foot concrete wall, like reinforced basement. It has a bow range in it and everything.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy because Kansas is no joke. Like tornadoes are a real thing.
Yeah.
All the weather systems come across the middle of the country, and it's just like a breeding grounds. And so,
Tornado sex.
yeah. So, yeah,
My intrusive thoughts.
they be fucking shit up on God, and so, his house got hit by a tornado, and the door hinges flew off of the door, and they stuck into the tree that he had inside his house.
Dang. Wow.
Yeah, and so he had to rebuild the house over like 2 years because he only had the basement left, and the 2 stories on top were gone.
That's crazy.
And so, the gym that I used to work out at, the Andover YMCA, I worked out there on 4/20 of 2022, and then 2 days later, it got destroyed by a tornado.
Jeez.
Dang.
And I was like, man, if I would have pulled up 2 days later, I would have been gone.
If I would have been on my grind for 2 extra days, I would have been dead.
Yeah, I barely missed it. And I was working in foster care at that time, and I was still on shift, and the tornado sirens start going off. And so I take all my foster kids to the basement, and I have on Snapchat, all my friends are Snapchatting me videos, and I'm showing them to all the foster kids. I'm like, you guys are going to die. And so I got all these tornado news. I'm the only one with Wi-Fi because I'm like the only adult in the room, and I have a bunch of like middle schoolers, and I'm like, "It's over. This is the end of time."
That's devious.
It was so bad.
Bye to your families.
They didn't have families. That's the thing.
Oh my god. Dude.
No.
And so,
Justin, come on, dude.
Say goodbye to their family. That's wild.
yeah. And
That's
so-
almost as bad as Heiko saying to stand in the disabled.
Standing in handicaps.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I was there for that podcast.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
came to. But yeah, so I'm telling all these little kids, like, it's the end of times, your life is over, and they're just panicking in our tornado shelter. And I'm not going to say it was funny, but, like, I had a good time. So, great memories. Memories for sure.
God, that's
Wow.
hilarious.
That was.
But I ain't never went back to Kansas. Unless someone's paying me a shitload of money, I ain't
Yeah.
go back.
Valid. So what are some of your Florida likes and dislikes?
Ooh, my likes and dislikes of Florida. I just pressed a button on here on accident.
That's fine.
My likes and dislikes of Florida. I love the women. That's probably like number one draw. I'm not gonna lie.
He likes the snow bunnies.
No, that's all I had in my high school. The Latina women down here, shoo. But anyways, the women are great. They're very different from the Midwest. In the Midwest, you get married at 18 and you have kids like a week later, and you're just like, this is my dream, and I have no interest in that. I want to be able to like live my life a little bit and travel and do those fun things.
Mm-hmm.
I like the weather, obviously. I really enjoy the fact that I can do outdoorsy stuff like year round. You know, there's like 4 months a year in the Midwest where I just don't go outside and I turn into a ghost. I get pale as hell. And so y'all got beaches down here in Florida. There's so many things to do. Like there's so much touristy stuff and attractions. You know, the best thing to do in Kansas is go to Club Rodeo and line dance. That's like the vibe every Friday night. Or go to barn parties. Like in Kansas, you literally like throw a bonfire outside. Everyone pulls their like trucks up and everyone just brings alcohol and you just like play music in a barn.
Wow.
And just get sloshed.
That's gotta be the most country thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's wild. I used to get off a class in high school and just go mudding. That was like what we'd do.
We have mudding here. A
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
I was a part of our farming clubs and stuff like that in high school. My grandparents live on the same farm that their grandparents got during the Homestead Act. So like,
Wow.
they farmers, like farming.
Yeah.
Farming.
Yeah. And so farming simulator IRL. Yeah, I wish people were nicer down here. I like that about Kansas.
Yeah.
The holidays seem like they matter a lot more in the Midwest. Here, like 4th of July was cool. I didn't really see like no flags nowhere or
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind
I heard all the bombs going off outside my apartment last night. That was awesome. But it didn't feel like people were like so happy to have 4th of July.
It's because Florida's so diverse now.
Yeah.
Like there's so many
There are
different
people who are like,
people.
hooray,
now.
America! And there's people like,
It's just so many different cultures and just people from other countries. Like it's just not celebrated as much as other places. I think.
which kind of sucks because it wasn't always like that.
No, it wasn't.
When we were kids, I mean, maybe it's because we were kids and we had that kid mindset. But I feel like a lot more people celebrated.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot more things everywhere about 4th of July. It was like USA, flags everywhere, this and that. And it was like, wow, it feels like, it's going to be a holiday. Or even Christmas. A lot of decorations during Christmas back then. And now it's like, people put up lights and whatever, but it's not something you see all the time anymore. It's like, it kind of sucks. Because I wish it was like that.
Yeah. If people just don't roll as hard out here for the things they care about. I don't know if they're nervous or if there's just too much opposing viewpoints.
I think it's just the viewpoints.
Yeah,
honestly. I think a lot of people's viewpoints have changed in the past years. So it's like you'll see the people that are still doing what they're doing. Then there's.
I think it just comes down to people are just too afraid to offend other people nowadays.
Yeah, I feel like in the Midwest it's not really a problem where people are just like
If people offend you, just get out the rattle can. Sorry, I had to.
But I mean, once you're here for a while longer, you'll start to realize as long as you don't mess with anybody, you just go along with your own business. It's like it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
It's like,
Keep my head down for sure.
Yeah, because it's like there are nice people, but on the outside they look like they'll want to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you might as well just be chilling, doing your own thing.
Yeah. I never grew up in a community where I had to worry about alligators.
Oh, they're like pets over here.
Yeah.
Dude, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I went over to my girlfriend's house and we were looking out the back window and there was alligators in the pond and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's just normal. We have to just make sure the dogs don't get out."
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have to worry about your dogs getting eaten by alligators? That's like a normal problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I remember when I lived in Condon in the neighborhood just down the street over here, literally like there would be alligators just laying in our lawns.
Yeah,
like,
that's insane.
Yeah.
There was an alligator laying in the middle of my road, like in the entrance of my neighborhood, just laying there on the road. I was like, "Oh, cool, let me take a picture."
They're all over there. Like,
I really want to eat one.
Everywhere.
You never had gator bites?
I want to eat one so bad.
You know what place? What's the place you went? No,
Ukuleles.
walk-ons, dude. They have good gator bites there. I had them the one night we went to go watch the draft, dude.
Yeah.
They're pretty good there.
Would y'all want to film a vlog going alligator hunting?
Dude,
I would do that. That sounds fun.
I've never done
we
it.
should take Colton to do that one.
Hey, but Colin actually went to.
Yeah, I know. That's why we should
Louisiana, and he
take
was
it.
shooting stuff
That would
up.
be kind of fun. Not even gonna lie. That would be fun. I would do that.
I'd do that. But yeah, alligators here very prevalent. They're just like little pets. You're like, hello, and then you walk past them, and then you also got to worry about deers, not running into them, and then sometimes you'll see them on the side of the road just chilling. Raccoons, those are a big one, and possums,
and snakes,
and armadillos. Because I have a mango tree in my backyard.
Yeah.
So there was one time we have a motion sensor light, and I was downstairs getting a snack, and I was like, "What is that?" And it was already late at night. I look out, literally, I kid you not, there was a raccoon the size of like this big, huge. Like he looked like
Rocket.
Rocket the raccoon.
like Rocket if he was 50 times heavier. It was crazy. It looked like a dog ate another dog. It was bad. And I was like, ain't no way that's real. But I was like, yeah, that's stuff we got to worry about. And then I got a little dog too. So like a little dog goes outside, he's gone. He's goodbye.
Mm.
So, I mean, they're just like little whatevers,
It's wild.
That's what you live with over here. You get used to it. Oh, well, I mean, is there anything, the last question I have about this is there anything you think is weird that we do in Florida?
Weird shit y'all do in Florida. Y'all worship the fuck out of Publix. Y'all,
Yeah, Publix!
I have never been to a Publix before I came to USF in Tampa before, right? Like, I didn't realize that, like, Publix was a thing. I went to Dillon's back where I'm at.
Okay.
I don't know if you
what
were.
that is.
Yeah, see, like, we have Dillon's where I'm from. And so y'all have these chicken tender subs here that are absolutely fire. I think they're so good, right? I'd rather eat that over Chick-fil-A. I think a chicken tender
That's a hot
sub
take.
is better than a Chick-fil-A sandwich. 100%.
That's a very
Wow.
hot take.
Well, it's just the truth.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people in Florida would agree with you, but I feel like anywhere else that doesn't have Publix would be like, What are you talking about? You're stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, if I said that to a Kansan, they'd think I'm brain dead and think I'm getting indoctrinated.
Probably. Probably.
They'd be like, "What are you teaching you at this liberal college?" And so, but yeah, y'all bump for Publix like it's
Publix is just that guy.
Good.
It's got everything. They got good cookies. They got good desserts in general. They got good subs. Pub subs are like infinitely better than any sub you'll get anywhere else, like Subway or even Jersey Mike's.
Because it's
I
just
like
all
Jersey Mike's.
Fresh. Like the food's all fresh there.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
And
Different.
It's just way better than going to Walmart too.
low key. Yeah, you get shot at Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart's scary to go to now. Like actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like that's anywhere though. I feel like Walmart
Nah,
just
but
has this-
Walmart, they just have some type of people there. I don't know.
That's why in Florida we go to Target.
Yeah.
Maybe not
Yeah,
right now.
even I'd rather go to Target than Walmart too.
Yeah, I'd rather go to Target than Walmart. So I don't know.
The other weirdest thing I realized here is when the hurricane came in the fall, y'all have hurricane parties.
Yeah.
I had never heard of that
Yeah.
before. Like when tornadoes
do
show up,
that.
they just pop out of nowhere. You don't have like prep time. But like hurricanes, you got like time to like gather your supplies for a banger.
It's
And,
almost like a party, yeah.
Yeah, people are like, hell yeah, I've been wanting to throw a party. I'm glad there's a hurricane coming. And I thought that was weird as hell. My roommate's from Daytona, and he's like, are you going to come to the hurricane party? And I was like, what are you talking about? You have a hurricane party?
Yeah,
The winds get bad, like flood your street. People go like snowboarding. They'll go like boarding in the water. Like,
Yeah, they do that too.
Or they'll hook up a thing to their car and like a wakeboard on it, like from the back, and it's like that's normal.
Yeah, I didn't realize people like look forward to that.
Yeah.
That's like, man, I'm looking for a reason to celebrate. And
Because they
Everyone
get off of
else's
school.
demise.
No school for like a week.
Yeah. School's closed down. Kids love it, and then the hurricane hits, and they're like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that I get a chance to go to a better hurricane party than the one I had last time. So, looking forward to it.
How is the driving?
Driving here?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So I'm a car guy, big car guy, and I make YouTube videos working on cars. I have a 31 Model A at home. It's like almost 100 years old. Ain't no way I'm bringing it here. People would look at me and just plow into me just because, haha, that's funny. But the roads here are hella skinny. I drive a truck right now. That's my like primary form of transportation. I ride a bike on campus, and I literally bought a helmet because I was scared I'm gonna get ran over. I've almost been hit like 3 different times.
People are so bad at you. At
It's so
I
bad.
almost run into people on my scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you not know how to walk correctly? I don't understand.
It's awful.
They just don't. Nobody pays attention.
I've almost run into people on their phones.
Yeah.
Or, like, I'll be coming up behind them, and they'll be on their phone, and they'll randomly go into the
They
middle
just
of
don't care. Nobody cares.
No.
No, people don't realize that like we drive on the right, so you should walk on the right. I feel like that's like a A equals B kind of
Yeah.
thing.
You would
and
think so.
But yeah, driving here, I got a dirt bike, like a dual sport.
Okay.
And I rode it once on the highway, and I was like, people don't even see me. This is
No.
a death wish.
That's why it's so like, watch out for bikers in Florida type thing, because nobody pays attention.
Yeah.
When I moved here from Kansas, I transferred my insurance here, and it tripled
Yeah.
in cost.
Mm-hmm.
I was paying like $100 a month, and now I pay almost $300
Yep.
a month.
Sounds about right.
And I have a perfect driving record.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just because of Florida, because people are so bad.
People are
here.
so bad.
It's awful. It's absolutely hot. My horn's getting a workout.
Yeah. I mean, my girlfriend is very aggressive driver, so every time she drives, there's always an inconvenience, whether she's honking at someone or someone cuts her off or just, I don't know, just always something. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Driving here is bad.
Yeah.
You say the roads are skinny though? You think
Yeah, the roads are
skinny?
so small here.
Really?
Yeah, every time I'm driving, I'm always like looking at both my mirrors, making sure I'm within the lines.
I feel like the roads here are pretty big.
No.
Maybe it's
Nah,
just I've never
I'm
driven
be
it, but-
honest. I feel like some of them are actually pretty skinny.
And there's so much
it also
damn
depends on
construction.
What you drive? He drives a big F-150,
Big.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's also
That's
why.
true.
and you drive a 4Runner.
Yeah, I
so
know. That's why. But
whenever we drive sedans, it's a lot seems smaller.
And here's the thing: if someone's in your lane, you get in the other person's lane right next to them, and then they get over too. It's like when you're on the highway and that happens.
Oh, turn signals are non-existent here.
Yeah. that's-
Not at all. Like they don't exist. I'll be driving and I'll be like waiting and I want to turn left or something, and then I'll wait there that entire time, and the person will just turn, and I could have went like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, thanks, bro.
I'll be
And
honest,
I
do
want to
that
get
too.
mad at them, but I don't want them to just pull out the 9 because like it's Florida.
Yeah, especially now that we've passed the law where you can open carry without a permit.
That's crazy too.
Listen, man,
You can do that in Kansas. You can do that in Kansas.
Really?
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm not surprised.
I used to conceal carry at Dillon's in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Right? I used to go to my college classes just strapped up. That was like a normal thing.
Wow.
And so.
Can you imagine going strapped up to USF? You'd probably end up getting shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be crazy.
Probably.
They got different laws here than they do there.
Yeah.
So.
You know what I've never realized, though, that I think is really funny? Is that people that go to church are probably packing. Like,
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine someone tries to rob a church and then just 50, like a whole bunch of 50-year-old men just get up and...
Probably why nobody robs a church.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's other reasons, too, but, you know.
No, but still, like,
Can you
that's
imagine
like the
someone
worst
trying to,
place.
like, go and shoot up a church? And
No,
then
yeah,
just like,
nobody
that
would
wouldn't
do-
happen. That's not something that happens.
No.
All right, how do we get?
I
to
don't know
shooting
why
up
you.
churches?
Why are we talking about shooting up
What
churches?
in the world just
talking
happened?
about
What
what?
topic switch did we just do?
Dude, it's just.
You need to. Okay, it's past your bedtime.
You're talking about open carrying.
Yeah, but why are we talking about shooting up churches?
Because I just thought it was a funny idea. Or not idea.
You thought it was
no,
funny?
Wait, no, stop. No, that's not what I meant.
Then you gotta cut this up and save
I just
it,
take the
dude.
rattle can to and just.
He just thought it was like a funny idea.
No, I thought the idea of like
They got
idea-
YouTube videos, people of that. Some dude tried to rob people from like the church or whatever, and some dude in the back just executed him.
yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
It's like you never think
Yeah.
like a whole church is just packing. So I think we'll call it there.
Yeah.
But I know Hunter told me you have something coming out for your podcast.
Absolutely. So I don't know if people realize it so far.
Yeah.
I started making T-shirts. So one of my big things is a Phelps Party podcast. Currently, all my guests are unpaid. They come on as volunteers. And a big thing for me is when people come on my show, I want them to have something to like remember me by, but also like a good marketing thing. And so recently, I made MPL merch.
Oh, yeah.
So
Tall enough.
I hope you can see me. It's written on the top collar. I'll post about it on my Instagram. But yeah, MPL merch. I'm launching a simple like fan shirt website.
Okay.
I've been doing graphic design throughout my degree program, and I'm realizing like, man, I could start making like merchandise for people. And so I connected with a print shop in my local hometown and designed these logos. And yeah, so I'm gonna start giving out T-shirts to my guests. And
really
if you're coming on Phelps Party Podcast here soon, check it out. We're gonna get a free T-shirt. So,
Nice.
and hopefully I'll be selling a different set of shirts and hats here soon.
That'd be pretty cool.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
They'll be by donation,
Shirts.
so
Yeah.
it'll be pretty cool.
Very interesting. When are we getting merch?
When you want to help pay for it.
Yeah, yeah. I had to cover all the inventory and holding costs.
How
so-
much was it?
I paid almost $500 to print all these shirts.
We're
Yeah.
never getting shirts.
So, but you got to think about it. All my guests, it's something for me to get back to them.
Yeah.
So it'll be absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
And then once I start actually selling shirts, whenever I put up that donation link or whatever, I'll definitely hopefully cover my own costs.
Mm.
So hopefully that'll be pretty cool.
Interesting. Very interesting.
That is cool.
Maybe one day. How about we'll start small? We'll get the 4 of us shirts first.
Yeah.
We'll start there.
We should just get us 4 like shirts. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
I would just have to design them, but
It'll work
I've
out.
got an edit of 2
You got the logo around.
I don't think putting a logo on a shirt on a website is gonna be.
Oh,
that
but it's
big
got to
of a
look
I
good.
don't
Like
think
this
it's
looks.
gonna be
This looks good. I'd wear this out. There's some merch
Yeah,
that
I
is
don't-
cringe.
No, yeah,
Alright.
I agree with that.
That's
yeah.
not cringe.
No, but
Appreciate
I feel like you could. It wouldn't take too long to do.
Well, I mean,
You got to keep it simple.
How long did it take to make that?
Like
Like one of them.
The logo was already
Yeah.
made, right? So whenever I started my podcast, I had no idea how to do anything in Photoshop.
Okay.
So I met up with a friend from my hometown, and her and I designed this.
Okay.
I paid her for the trademark for my logo,
Okay.
and then when I designed the back of the shirt, that literally took me like 5 minutes. Right. I just wanted something simple to where you know where it came from. I'll probably do some couple redesigns and do some updating, but when I took that, I emailed it to the print shop. You can get it all done in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
interesting.
not too bad.
Well, I think we're gonna call it there. I did have national holidays, but we're not.
No, we don't gotta do those. Yeah. No.
It's not worth it. But thank you again to Mason for coming
Yeah,
on.
appreciate
We
it.
really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your experiences. So yeah, you will be able to check out Mason and all of his podcast stuff and his personal accounts.
Yeah, you want to shout out your accounts really quick?
Yep, you can hit me up on Instagram at MasonPhelps98. Same on TikTok. You can hit me up on YouTube, just Mason Phelps. It's a photo of me in my rugby gear. And you can also follow me at Phelps Party Podcast. That's where I do my long form interview content for my podcast show. And I'll have the merchandise link also related to there.
Nice.
So.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to go like and subscribe on YouTube. 5 stars on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Thank you, Ben.
Our one watcher.
Our one Amazon Music or whatever watcher. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, see ya.